Manitoba. Happy Tuesday. I feel like I need to say Monday, of course, coming back from that long weekend. I'm in for Rochelle for the rest of the week until she returns. Now, Folklorama has kicked off your trip around the world with 44 different pavilions, many of them hitting milestones. Our Daniel Holmerson is live this morning with the Africa Pavilion. Let's have a look at your headlines first. Another northern Manitoba First Nation forced to evacuate as wildfires inch closer. The urgent call to leave and how many fires are still burning out of control across the province. Wildfires are impacting Manitoba's polar bears, and experts warn the animals could be aging faster due to changing conditions. 150 years strong, Gimli's Atlantic Festival brought the party, the pride, and a splash of Viking showdown. Terry, over the weekend, I got to the White Shell. Beautiful. I mean, of course, you still saw a little bit of that haze outside of the city. I'm not sure what the city was like, but it really was a pleasant weekend.
Well, I understand things cleared out nicely here in Winnipeg yesterday. It was a little bit smoky into the start of the weekend, but by yesterday, things were clearing out nicely. And now today, waking up, I was smelling some fresh air outside, and my warnings map, well, is looking good for the south at least. 18 degrees is where we're sitting right now in Winnipeg with southeast winds 17 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising. The humidity is sitting at 83%. Now, as far as the conditions go today, yes, on our warnings map, we do still have that heavy smoke warning through all of northern Manitoba and along through parts of east central Manitoba, just starting to move into that smoke advisory. That's the yellow that you're seeing there. Off to the west, that's a heat warning in parts of Saskatchewan. We're going to be noticing those temps on the rise. I wouldn't say anything that requires a heat warning, though. Just slightly above seasonal is where we're headed today, and we'll do it with a fair bit of sunshine. Now, some sunshine, but the possibility maybe of some scattered showers or maybe a thunderstorm passing through. Very scattered precipitation showing up here through parts of southern Manitoba, a little bit across parts of northern Manitoba as well. Overnight, better chance of seeing some of that activity rolling through and then lingering into tomorrow morning. Chance of showers, maybe some thunderstorms to continue. Northern Manitoba on the clearer side until the afternoon, and that's when your round of rain will be settling through. That'll be for tomorrow. Then it's pretty much clearing out the latter part of the week. We will get temperatures on the rise till about midweek and then dropping off a little bit as we're looking ahead to the weekend. So could get as hot as 30 degrees by Thursday, but if that's too hot for you, you only have to wait another couple of days for some more moderate temperatures to move through.
Thank you, Terry. Another First Nations community in northern Manitoba was evacuated on Sunday due to wildfire-related concern. The Sitsiwayasik Cree Nation issued a full evacuation order on Sunday. In a social media post, the community said that the evacuation is a precautionary measure due to a possible highway closure. Residents with their own transportation were asked to self-evacuate to the RBC Convention Center in Winnipeg after registration at the community's multiplex. Community members who were away for the long weekend were also asked to report to their location and head to the shelter in Winnipeg. As of Sunday, there are 159 total fires burning in Manitoba, with 19 fires being out of control, according to the province. Forest fires ripping across Canada are impacting the country's wildlife, including Manitoba's polar bears. CTV's Alex Karpa finds out how the changes to their environment are affecting the animals, including how they age.
At the shores of Hudson Bay sits Wapusk National Park in northeastern Manitoba. It's one of the world's largest known polar bear denning areas, crucial for the survival of newborn cubs.
Looking at where polar bear dens are. And
Stephen Peterson, the Director of Conservation and Research at Winnipeg's Assiniboine Park Conservancy, says a warming climate and a drying subarctic landscape is increasing the fire risk up north, placing polar bears in ever-increasing danger.
If we then start eroding and picking away at that denning habitat that's so important for producing new cubs and keeping those populations sustainable, then polar bears are just kind of getting another whammy that will make them less likely to be in Manitoba in the long term.
He is now hoping to create a map that can help inform wildfire fighting efforts in the future to protect wildlife in the north.
If we want to protect polar bear habitat, knowing where that habitat is and what's at high risk will help make those decisions.
Climate change is happening at a pace that is unprecedented.
Megan Jones has studied the impact climate change is having on polar bears and whether they can adapt to an evolving climate. In her ongoing study, she discovered that for every degree of climate warming, these polar bears along the western shores of the Hudson Bay are aging biologically by 1 year.
As we are losing ice in the Arctic due to climate change, bears are spending more time swimming, which is 5 times more energetically intensive than walking, so they're using energy a lot faster.
Manitoba's fire map shows 1 small active fire in Wapusk National Park and 2 other fires in the region, but it's not just the fires that could impact bears, but smoke too.
When polar bears are inhaling these gases, they're inhaling particulate matter, it's going to result in inflammation in their bodies as well.
Jones says the Arctic is expected to warm for at least the next 100 years, but in the meantime, she is doing everything she can to protect polar bears in the north. Alex Scarpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Wildfires raging across several provinces have forced more people to flee their homes this weekend. On the west coast, crews in British Columbia are trying to gain the upper hand on the Wesley Ridge fire burning on Vancouver Island. It was discovered last week. It grew again on Monday to more than 500 hectares. Harmful air quality remains a major concern across most of Canada because of all the wildfire smoke. The situation was so bad that Toronto was at one point on Monday ranked in the top 10 most polluted cities in the world, according to air quality technology company IQ Air. Statements or warnings remain in effect for a huge swath of the country. President Donald Trump is defending his decision to fire the Bureau of Labor Statistics Commissioner in the fallout of a weaker than expected U.S. jobs report.
We'll be announcing a new statistician sometime over the next 3 or 4 days. We had no confidence. I mean, the numbers were ridiculous, what she announced, but that was just one negative number. All of the numbers seem to be great.
Trump's administration has been facing growing criticism over the move. The critics say that it undermines the public's trust in federal agencies. There are calls for Congress to investigate the commissioner's removal. Robot teams are preparing for the first ever World Humanoid Robot Games in Beijing. 30 robot teams from countries around the world have registered to play in the soccer tournament at the games that begin on August 14th. On Monday, the robots faced off in fully autonomous 5-on-5 soccer matches powered entirely by artificial intelligence. The robots are equipped with advanced visual sensors, which allow them to identify the ball and navigate the field. They were also designed to stand up on their own after falling. It was a weekend of celebration in Gimli as the community marked 150 years since founding of New Iceland. The Icelandic Festival of Manitoba drew thousands of visitors over 4 days with a parade, tournaments, live music, and plenty of food. One of the most popular events was the Islending Adunk, and excuse my pronunciation there, a Viking-style showdown where 2 people tried to knock each other off a metallic pole over the water. Festival's president says that the connection between Gimli and Iceland remains strong.
We have very strong ties and always share what we're doing. We visit them, they visit us, and yeah, it's always been very, very strong and held together by the communities.
To mark the milestone, Iceland's president ambassador to Canada and consul general in Winnipeg all attended the festival. Organizers say that they worked hard to keep the event affordable and family friendly. They estimate that between 30,000 and 40,000 came to the event over the weekend. Here's our first look at traffic along Portage Avenue. This stretch super quiet at this time of the morning. No stalls or crashes to report. Our Daniel Holmerson joins us now for the first time this morning. Good morning. Let's talk about Folklorama. 44 pavilions, lots to see. Where are you?
We're at the Africa Pavilion today, Ainsley, at Tech Voc. Now, what better place to start CTV Morning Live's trip around the world at the 54th Folklorama than at a pavilion representing more than 4 dozen countries. A few more numbers. Africa's separated into 5 different regions, and there are hundreds of different languages. Now, this morning, we're going to check out some live performances here at Tech Voc. We're going to sample some of the food on the menu at this pavilion. We're going to learn a little bit more about the different cultures of Africa. And now when it comes to Africa, the one thing I keep on hearing is diversity is strength. There are so many different cultures in the African diaspora, and it's really an exciting time. So stick around. Coming up shortly, you'll see right behind me here, we'll have an amazing performance. They were already rehearsing, Ainsley, so stay tuned.
Thank you, Daniel. I hope he brings back some food. Okay, Terry, here's proof that it's not just kids who love slides. Oh, this pup's in heaven. Watch as he climbs up the big inflatable stairs and then slides all the way down with a huge smile on his face.
Oh my goodness. He's practically heading up the stairs before he's even off the slide yet.
Imagine
Look
they were
at that
like piano
anticipation.
keys.
He steers himself right over there. Round 2, round 3.
I'm getting dizzy just looking at him.
Oh, the music is good too. Very fitting.
Oh, man.
Yes.
How does it feel outside?
So I put my jacket on, but mostly not having to do with the temperatures, having to do with the lack of sunshine. It's up now, but it wasn't when we started the show, 6:04. So we're starting to notice those later mornings and earlier evenings. It's setting just after 9 o'clock now. So shorter days, certainly not necessarily cooler days. We're not starting to see that trend happening just yet. Still, plenty of summer is left. It's 18, I mentioned. My jacket had nothing to do with the temperature itself, just the lack of sunshine out here. Southeast winds are 18 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 86%. Pretty clear out here, not much in the way of clouds and not too much in the way of smoke either. That haze has been kind of kept at bay a little bit. So it's a fairly pleasant start to your morning. It will be warming up though. We'll see maybe a few clouds throughout the day today as these temperatures are on the rise into the probably mid to high 20s. 26 degrees would be normal for this time of year, and we might go just beyond that. 27 is our expected high in Winnipeg today. There is the possibility of some showers, maybe some thunderstorms. My plans could use some showers after the long weekend with I don't think much rain fell here. So I'll give them a bit of a drink even ahead of Mother Nature. But yes, possible showers or some thunderstorms, if not through the day, more likely overnight. We're taking a break, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
Good morning. It's 6:15. A group representing doctors says it's time to ditch fax machines and snail mail to help speed up patient referrals. Doctors Manitoba posted this video to social media. It says that doctors make more than 1 million specialist referrals and imaging requisitions annually. Most are done through fax because most Manitoba physicians can't share information electronically. It's one of the least efficient systems in Canada. The group says that fax requests often get backlogged in a central intake and require manual entry into a computer system. Doctors Manitoba says that moving to an electronic system will speed up referrals and decrease wait times for patients. Many have to wait months or even more than a year to see a specialist.
That it would be a benefit because if the administrative burden of processing those referrals in a very analog way is decreased, then presumably that means better work balance for the receiving physician and more time in the week, in the year, that patients could be seen instead of having a specialist sitting at a desk doing that processing.
At a healthcare summit this fall, Doctors Manitoba will try to convince government and regulators to consider the switch. A manhunt is underway in central Ontario's cottage country. The investigation began when police discovered one man dead outside of a burning home near the town of Bracebridge over the weekend.
Officers arrived. One person was located deceased outside the residence, and the residence was fully engulfed in flames.
The next day, investigators discovered 2 more bodies inside the home. They are now tracking down 29-year-old Mitchell Gray. Ontario Provincial Police, speaking on the case for the first time, said Monday that the suspect and victims were known to one another, but won't say whether they were related. People in Gaza received more aid on Monday, dropped by Canadian Armed Forces. The aircraft flew over the enclave, sending thousands of kilograms of life-saving supplies to those who desperately need it. This at the time the Prime Minister said that Canada is intensifying efforts to help develop a peace plan and support Palestinians. CTV's Kamal Karamali reports.
A rare and brief moment of celebration in Gaza. Food airdropped from above, feeding hope to a starving population. Crates delivered from countries around the world, among them Canada's contribution, nearly 10,000 kilograms of aid dropped over Gaza by the Canadian Armed Forces Monday for the first time, using their own aircraft instead of relying on another country.
Well, it's not nearly enough.
5 more Palestinians have died from a lack of food, says Gaza's health ministry, with doctors feeling helpless.
Our surgical teams and our medical teams who are hungry themselves.
Families of Israeli hostages in Gaza fear starvation will be the death of their loved ones as well, and put the blame on Hamas, who released these videos of 2 emaciated Israelis in their captivity. For hungry Palestinians on the ground, seeking food from Israel's controversial aid group continues to have deadly consequences. More than 40 people killed by Israeli gunfire and airstrikes Monday, according to local medics. As the violence worsens, a new parliamentary report from July highlights the type of weapons sent from Canadian companies to Israel in 2024. More than $18 million worth, including more than $2 million categorized as accessories related to bombs and other explosives, while more than $12 million sent labeled components related to electronic equipment and military spacecraft. The Foreign Affairs Minister's office says they refused any new permits to Israel since January of 2024 and froze existing permits that same year, saying the weapons exported are non-lethal. If an export permit for an item used to protect civilians is requested, it will be approved.
Canada has no way of monitoring or enforcing where these weapons and weapon parts are used.
Now, a coalition of not-for-profit groups is calling on Canada to put a complete stop to the shipments of arms to Israel, while the Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs says the claims stemming from the report are false.
And negotiations on a hostage and ceasefire deal in Gaza appear to be at an impasse. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is expected to convene with his security cabinet this week to decide on Israel's next steps. A senior Israeli source suggesting more force could be an option. Hamas is demanding that the humanitarian situation be addressed before it returns to talks. Popular 1980s actor Lonnie Anderson of the hit TV series WKRP in Cincinnati has died.
No.
Messages?
Nope.
Mail?
None.
Okay. How about lunch?
No lunch either.
Dinner?
Busy.
Okay. How about later at my place?
You're married, Herb.
Sales manager.
Anderson's publicist says that Anderson passed away at Los Angeles Hospital after battling a prolonged illness. She earned 2 Emmy Awards and 3 Golden Globe nominations for her role as the savvy receptionist on 4 seasons of the sitcom WKRP in Cincinnati. Anderson went on to appear in dozens of movies, including the 1983 film Stroker Face, where she met and married Burt Reynolds, whom she would later divorce in the mid-90s. Lonnie Anderson was 79 years old. Taking a look at the current traffic situation along Confusion Corner. No stalls or crashes to report at this time.
All right, we're looking now through the Bath Fitter Live Eye. Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. Not quite as hazy as it was as we rolled on into the weekend, and I understand there was still some heavy smoke up till about Saturday, but then Sunday things started to improve a little bit, Monday as well, and now we're starting to see some clearing conditions out through southern Manitoba. Not everybody is lucking in with the air quality, as we do still have those warnings in place, and I'll show you where in just a second. Talking first about temperatures, though, an above seasonal start to your day when 13 degrees is a normal low. Many of us, most of us, are well above that. 15 seems like the coolest temperature here through southern Manitoba. Portage la Prairie, Morden Winkler area, that's where you're sitting, but many of us are into those high teens already. 18, 19 degrees, those are the average temps that we're seeing across much of southern Manitoba. A little bit cooler through central Manitoba, 12 degrees right now in Swan River, but then moving up into northern Manitoba, you've got the smoke, but also the heat, high teens, even some low 20s to begin the day. And then, yes, you do have the smoke and the heat warnings just on the other side of that western border, but we can see that you are already feeling some of that extreme warmth to kick things off. Will likely be a hot day again. We'll watch how the temperatures rise through the day, and yes, it is going to be a warm one, slightly above seasonal here in the south, reaching into those low to mid 20s by midday, but then high 20s later on into the afternoon. I mentioned 26 degrees being a seasonal high here in the south. We'll be just above it for the next couple of days, getting as hot as 30 degrees before those temperatures will be cooling down as we look ahead to the weekend. It was cool and a little bit hazy over the weekend at the Barclay Farm, but Snoopy didn't seem to mind. Thanks for the photo, and keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca. And we'll be back right after this break.
It's almost that time of year when families start thinking about back to school prep. And if you've got a student in a senior grade or heading off to college or university and looking for a laptop, CTV's Pat Foran has some helpful advice.
Computers have improved so much over the years that even the most basic models will be able to handle most of what students need to do. But there are big price differences depending on what you want to buy. Consumer Reports has their best picks for any laptop budget. Whether you're heading off to high school, college, or university, the right laptop can make your school year, and timing your purchase could save you hundreds of dollars.
We tell folks that if they have the money now to buy the laptop now, because there is a very good chance that prices could rise pretty dramatically.
For bigger budgets, the latest 15-inch Apple MacBook Air ranks near the top of the laptop ratings for performance and reliability. To score one for less, choose a smaller model or one that's a few years old. Prefer a PC with Windows? This lightweight LG Gram offers great portability and battery life. And if you're looking to save a few bucks,
maybe you find one that's a year or two older, which is still going to be a very good laptop. You could probably find that for less than the current year model.
If you want the latest tech, the HP OmniBook Ultra is a powerful AI PC designed to run AI apps on the laptop itself instead of online. And although it's pricey, there are ways to save.
Generally speaking, don't just buy it from the first store that happens to have it. Take your time, give it a couple days and shop around at different stores, and it is very likely you'll be able to find a better price somewhere else.
And if you want to get the biggest bang for a small budget, this lightweight Lenovo Chromebook weighs next to nothing and delivers 19 hours of battery life. Another smart option, refurbished laptops sold directly from Apple, Dell, HP, and other trusted brands. They go through full inspections and often include a one-year warranty. And if you're a student looking for a laptop, don't forget to mention that. Many companies offer student discounts. Apple, Dell, HP, and some stores offer student pricing, sometimes with extra perks like gift cards or accessories. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
It's that time of year again, and CTV and Chicken Chef want to know, how are you soaking up the Manitoba sunshine? Whether you're roasting marshmallows under the stars or dancing at your favorite festival, we want to see the special moments that make your summer shine. Upload a photo of your summer fun for a chance to win the $5,000 grand prize. You'll also be in the running for daily draws and tasty surprises from Chicken Chef. Plus, you could win one of 4 $250 gift cards for Wine Sense. So snap that perfect shot and share your summer with us today. Live from the Africa Pavilion at Tech Voc, our Danny Holmerson is making some music this morning. We see you at 6:30.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
All right, it's 18 degrees to kick off your morning. That's an above seasonal start, a mild one for sure. Southeast winds, 18 clicks, the pressure rising and the humidity at 86%. And those temperatures about 5 degrees above seasonal, despite the fact that the sun only just started to rise after we started the show at 6:04. So some later mornings, but not cooler mornings yet. We will still notice some smoke, heavy smoke through much of northern and east central Manitoba. You can see those are the areas that are still included in that heavy smoke warning, or the advisory is the yellow that you're seeing through parts of east central Manitoba. And no heat warnings in Manitoba itself, but just off to the west. You can see that is the case in Saskatchewan this morning. As far as the conditions go today, just let me, we're back in business here. We're actually on the clearer side to kick things off for this morning. For northern Manitoba, you've got a slim chance of seeing some showers or thunderstorms for later on into the day. That's more likely when we will see any of that that activity as well. Not necessarily through the morning hours, but the possibility increases through the day. 27 degrees, and the winds will also be increasing through the afternoon. At times out of the southeast could be getting to 30 kilometers per hour. And then with those stronger winds in place overnight, that chance of showers or thunderstorms continues. Dropping down to 18, so another mild night ahead. 27 expected tomorrow with very similar conditions. Winds shifting though out of the west at about 20 clicks, and then even hotter yet on Thursday. From there, thunderstorms to wrap up the week before the temperatures drop off for the weekend.
Thanks, Terry. Manitoba RCMP are investigating 2 separate drowning incidents that claimed the lives of 2 men on Saturday. Steinbach RCMP were called to Reynolds Ponds in the rural municipality of Reynolds at around 2 p.m. Officers were told that a man had been swimming when he suddenly disappeared beneath the surface and did not come up. Bystanders were searching for the swimmer but did not find the man. The Manitoba RCMP underwater recovery team was deployed to assist in the search. A 70-year-old man from Ontario was later found dead. Later that evening, Selkirk RCMP responded to a drowning at Grand Beach at around 8 p.m. Police were told 2 men had gone out onto the lake and onto a pool flotation device. Then the men lost their balance and fell into the water. One man was rescued by a nearby kayaker, but the second man did not resurface. The underwater recovery team located the body of a 25-year-old Winnipeg man who was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigations into both incidents are ongoing. Top Canadian trade officials are shifting gears for now, focusing on what's happening inside our borders over finding a way to smooth trade relations south of the border. They're also eyeing other partners. CTV's Colton Prale on the upcoming meetings in Mexico City.
The Prime Minister touring the Port of Vancouver, a key port of entry for international goods, including those from the U.S. But Ottawa's message since the deadline for a trade deal with the United States has come and gone is clear. An agreement with Donald Trump isn't the top priority. In a statement, Canada's U.S. Trade Minister says Ottawa's next step is reinforcing the economy, adding Canada will take the requisite measures with the U.S. at the appropriate time. In the meantime, Ottawa is looking towards its other North American partner.
But when we talk to Mexico, when we talk to their embassies in Canada, they are very eager to reset the relationship.
2 of Canada's top cabinet ministers, François-Philippe Champagne and Anita Anand, will be in Mexico City this week and are expected to meet with President Claudia Sheinbaum. Sources say the talks will focus on improving trade and bilateral relations over a 2-day visit.
We haven't taken advantage of a country that's closer to us than China.
Mexico has been deemed a priority market by Export Development Canada, and while it's Canada's 3rd largest trading partner, it only accounted for 1% of Canadian exports last year.
It's simply a matter, I think, of recognition and changing a Canadian reluctance to go beyond the U.S. market.
Meanwhile, the Canadian Federation of Independent Business says many of its members are starting to move supply chains and business away from the United States.
Over a third of them are shifting to domestic markets and suppliers, as well a quarter of them are looking at non-U.S. markets in light of these trade challenges with the U.S.
While auto parts and agriculture make up the majority of Canada-Mexico trade, experts say there's plenty of room to grow, especially in critical minerals and AI.
Meanwhile, Canadian officials continue to work on a trade deal with Washington, describing recent meetings with American officials as cordial and constructive.
Sun protection is important not just for people. Vineyard owners in Italy are putting sunscreen on their grapes to prevent them from turning into raisins. The sunscreen is a type of mineral rock powder that can be sprayed on. It's a natural material that farmers already use for bug protection. Farmers are also testing to see if mixing the powder with water is effective in sun protection for crops. Monday was Terry Fox Day in Manitoba, a day to celebrate local heroes like Jackson Sharon Okerlund.
Terry is all the inspiration we need, and I'm just hoping my story can shed a bit of Terry Fox spirit out into the world and keep his story going.
Inspired by Terry Fox, the Winnipeg man ran across Canada back in 2023 to raise money for cancer research. It took him 160 days to run 7,000 kilometers. The run raised more than $100,000 for their Terry Fox Foundation. Sharon Okerlund says that the biggest challenge, surprisingly, was the flat prairies.
It turned out it was starting to be the hottest parts of summer. Turns out going on different elevations actually works different muscles in your legs, so you're constantly changing up what you're working. So going straight across the prairies for like a month and a half, by the end of it, I was in a fever dream.
Sharon Okerlund hopes to raise even more money for cancer research. She's now selling a book about his journey called Brunswick's Big Adventure. Taking a look at the current traffic situation along McPhillips Street, it looks like a smooth drive. If you have any traffic tips or updates, send them to us, CTV Morning WPG, on our X page. Taking a look at your gas prices, the Canadian average stands at $1.37, while the provincial average is lower at $1.34. And in Winnipeg, the average is $1.36. Lowest price in the city, $1.27. All this info available to you at gasbuddy.com.
Price at the pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
Folklorama is back, and for our first time, we're doing 2 weeks of Folklorama. We are thrilled. Danny Homerson joins us from the Africa Pavilion.
We're having a fun morning. If you caught about 10 minutes ago, I was even playing the drums. It wasn't great. You didn't miss much, but coming up, we are going to see a wonderful performance. First off, though, I'm joined by Florence Aquadili, who's a coordinator here at the Pavilion. Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for being here today.
It's fantastic being here. Now, tell me, what does African music sound like to you?
African music is about vibrancy, it's about happiness, it's about resilience, and it's about communication. With African music, everything is embodied into the music. The drums are talking to you, the drums are pulling you, the drums are making you walk and making you be trying to make you turn you around, turn your emotions around. So when you are sad, when you enter the Africa Pavilion, you are forced to kind of begin to move yourself as you listen to the drums.
And who are we about to see here today?
Today we have a group, a social group from all the way from Edmonton, from Zimbabwe, and they are here today. Their name is Ngorimba, and they are playing the marimba music with all the instruments locally produced and brought in from Zimbabwe. And it's a musical instrument that depicts like xylophone, what we can call xylophone here, but it makes its own special sound. And I'm happy to have them here with us today, joining us for the Folklorama Festival.
Wonderful. Let's hear something.
Energy at 6:40 this morning, and the enthusiasm.
You're bringing what we all need, right?
It's your turn, Terry.
Here we go. Yeah, honestly, I would love to just feed off of that for sure. It is going to be a beautiful day today. It might be a little bit warm. We're certainly above seasonal to kick things off when 13 degrees would be a normal low temperature. Here we are beginning the day at 18 right now with southeast winds 18 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 86%. Sun is up. It's just happened to move behind some of the buildings in the downtown area. Either that or it's just not above the buildings in the downtown area. Either way, I can't actually see it yet, but I can see that gorgeous glow just off to the east. There's very few clouds out here, and that'll likely be the case at least through the morning hours. We might see a few more of those clouds building through the day, and then the chance of some showers or even some thunderstorms for later on into the afternoon. We'll also get those winds increasing a little bit, but we won't be mad about the winds, that bit of a breeze. It'll keep the air moving because the temperatures today slightly above seasonal. 26 is normal. We'll go just beyond that today, but it'll still be heating up over the next few days. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
Looking at the early markets, it's looking like a green start for the markets this morning. Dow futures are up by 4 points. NASDAQ futures are leading the way, up 87 points. S&P futures are showing more strength, up 16 points. The Canadian dollar is also ticking slightly higher. In overseas markets, Hong Kong's Hang Seng is up by 169 points, while Japan's Nikkei has climbed by 258 points. Good morning. The wildfire situation in Leaf Rapids is seeing crews remaining vigilant, catching and extinguishing hotspots within the town. A Facebook update from the town of Leaf Rapids on Monday says that roving fire crews are having success at keeping wildfires from intruding into the community. With dozers working on the fire guards and crews initiating some controlled burns, the update says that Manitoba Hydro crews are in Leaf Rapids, but power has not been restored yet. In the Snow Lake area, an update from 9:15 p.m. on Monday says that crews are busy along key control lines near the Herblet Hydro substation, Lawler Road, and Highway 395. Lighting caused some new fires in the area, with one crew deployed at the site of those. Risk assessments are ongoing. The town of Snow Lake is protecting all assets within municipal boundaries that are accessible by road. Manitoba Wildfire Service is looking after non-road accessible areas. In a statement earlier yesterday, Snow Lake Mayor Ron Scott thanked crews for their ongoing efforts at protecting the community and asked evacuated residents for their continued patience as crews battled what is referred to as, quote, this beast. He also indicated that the Lawler mine is untouched by fire, though it has no power right now. Johnny the Big Swimmer did it. On Sunday, Jonathan Fenton from Alberta did his big swim across Lake Winnipeg to raise money for cancer research.
All right.
CTV News shared his story on Friday. Fenton's original plan was to do his swim on Saturday, but strong winds forced a delay. On Sunday, he hit the water. While he didn't complete the full 25-kilometer distance, he swam 16 kilometers before shoulder pain forced him to stop. On his way back, he briefly stopped at Traverse Bay and told CTV News there one thought that kept him going.
I was going through some rough parts there where, I was getting a little dizzy and stuff, and I just thought, well, you know what, hang in there, because there's patients going through treatment that are going through a lot rougher things, and trying to keep those people in my head to just do it for them and get some money going.
As of Monday, Fenton's fundraiser got $36,730. He says he plans to return next summer and do it right. President Donald Trump is defending his decision to fire the Bureau of Labor Statistics commissioner in the fallout of a weaker than expected U.S. jobs report.
We'll be announcing a new statistician sometime over the next 3-4 days. We had no confidence. I mean, the numbers were ridiculous, what she announced, but that was just one negative number. All of the numbers seem to be great.
Trump's administration has been facing growing criticism over the move, as critics say that it undermines the public's trust in federal agencies. There are calls for Congress to investigate the commissioner's removal. Summer heat is posing health problems for humans and pets, leading to a tragic incident near Toronto where a dog died and another had to be rescued after being left alone in a vehicle. CTV's Janice Golding on what police are saying is now about the pet's owner.
Some regard their pets as part of the family.
They're like your children.
Which is why many people who live and work near Simcoe and Winchester and Oshawa are horrified that 2 dogs were left in a hot car and one had to be put down due to heat stroke.
Makes me sick to my stomach that an animal has to suffer like that. Unfortunately, people don't think.
Durham Regional Police say it was around 4:40 p.m. that officers were called about 2 dogs in distress. Animals, investigators say, had been left in a hot vehicle for an extended period of time.
When officers attended the scene, they spoke to witnesses and were eventually led to a veterinarian clinic where we learned that one of the dogs had to be euthanized from the heat stroke.
The owner was arrested and charged with willfully causing unnecessary pain or suffering or injury to an animal. And with the hot weather continuing, police are issuing a reminder to the public.
People think that these dogs are fine. They think, oh, if I put the window a bit, they'll get some air in. But we're finding on these hot days, we don't even really have much of a breeze. So they're not getting the temperature control that they need.
According to experts, dogs have a limited ability to sweat. So even a short period of time in a hot environment can be deadly. In fact, heat stroke fatalities fatalities can occur in less than 15 minutes. And even if you're parked in a shady area, your car can reach dangerous temperatures quickly.
I feel terrible. I think that is a horrible thing that happened to the pet, and I think that there should be more education about it.
It makes me very angry. I don't like hearing about dogs being in a car. Like, imagine leaving your kid in the car. It's the same thing, really.
Unfortunately, Mel Clatworthy, who has worked in the pet care industry for about 15 years, says it's all too common.
It's not shocking because we have seen several people leave their dogs in their car, and we do say something about it if we do see it, that it's too hot for their dog. They can bring them in the store.
Police say if you see a dog in a situation like this, you should call 911 immediately because these are emergency situations and there's little time to lose. Janice Golding, CTV News, Toronto.
Here's another look at traffic along Keniston and Sterling Line. We're not aware of any delays, but if you spot any, let us know. CTV Morning WPG.
It's 18 degrees outside right now. The sun is up. Still maybe just a slight bit of a haze as we're looking off across the city there. Southeast winds 18 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 86%. And while there might be a slight bit of a haze, there are no warnings or even advisories issued for Winnipeg or much of the surrounding area. Southern, most of central Manitoba. You can see east central Manitoba is still under that both the heavy smoke warning or the slightly downgraded advisory, but all of northern Manitoba included in that smoke warning. And then we have a heat warning that's just a little bit off to the west of us, but those temperatures across northern Manitoba will be well above seasonal today. Here's a look, in fact, well, first at the satellite image where there's not much to show you, but now we'll take a look at the temperatures that'll be reached across the north. And yes, it is going to be a hot one today, high 20s, low 30s. The heaviest of the smoke does seem like it'll be in northeastern Manitoba. Northwestern Manitoba is under that smoke advisory, but Environment Canada is still giving the sunshine icon as opposed to the straight up smoke that is being issued in the northeastern part of the province. Once we're looking into the southern part of the province, we're not even under those warnings, but there is the possibility for us of some showers, maybe some thunderstorms, southwestern Manitoba. The possibility is there through the day, more likely to be overnight that precipitation moves through, but after a few hot and dry days over the weekend, we could use another round of that rain. Certainly everybody could, and many places will have the possibility of seeing those showers or thunderstorms over the next couple of days. For us, a better chance overnight and through tomorrow, and then again at the end of the week. You can see the hot temperatures lasting through the week itself, but by the time the weekend rolls around, the mercury drops off a couple degrees.
Thank you, Terry. A Saskatchewan man is on a mission to return British war medals awarded for service in the Second World War to the veteran's family, if he can find them. CTV's Sarah Plowman on his attempts so far.
It all started with 2 black and white photos and a set of Second World War medals. But who is in this photo, and where is his family now? A mystery John Brady McDonald wants to solve so he can return the medals to the family.
So basically all the information we had was that.
The back of this photo offered clues. RFA Maine, Chatham, July 1930. And a name, George Mann.
George Mann was with the RFA, the Royal Fleet Auxiliary.
The medals also reveal some of this British sailor's story, stars for serving in the Atlantic and Africa.
Anywhere that the Royal Navy was engaged in conflict, the Royal Fleet Auxiliary was helping to replenish them.
McDonald has been digging through websites and archives. He found this, a marriage certificate he believes is Mann's, married in St. John, New Brunswick in 1948 to Alice Margaret Silver.
Right now what we're trying to find is descendants. When you deal with a surname like Mann, particularly a guy named George Mann, there are many George Manns out there.
The author and historian has reconnected families with medals and other mementos before.
These medals enter the market either by families don't know what to do with them. A lot of times the veterans themselves, due to financial difficulties, had to sell them. And the stories are lost with them.
Coming from a long line of Indigenous war veterans, it's personal.
My grandfather talked to me about his experiences during the Second World War and explain to me what happens when tyranny and fascism take over.
Stories he thinks are key to understand, especially now.
That's why it's important for me to get these medals home, so that these families have their history and that these stories continue to be told.
McDonald has received dozens of tips, but mostly it's information he already has. The marriage certificate suggests a connection to here in New Brunswick, but he questions, how did these medals end up out west? Something he hopes to answer if he can track down a family. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Fredericton.
Okay, it may sound a bit confusing, but a 1-week-old baby in Ohio is also the oldest baby in the world. That's because the Gen Alpha child is also a millennial. ABC's Andrea Fuji has the bizarre explanation.
A new record, a baby born from an embryo frozen more than 30 years ago. A medical feat, stunning, even doctors.
The fact that somebody who wanted to have a baby but couldn't now has one thanks to a frozen embryo that was frozen 30 years ago, that is remarkable.
Thaddeus was born in Ohio to his adoptive parents, Tim and Lindsay Pierce. We had a rough birth, but we are both doing well now. The new mom telling MIT Technology Review, we are in awe that we have this precious baby. Thaddeus was conceived in a lab in 1994 by Linda Archer, who's now 62 years old. She and her then husband used IVF, a fairly new technology at the time, to eventually have their now 30-year-old daughter. But they froze 3 other unused embryos. Years later, faced with the decision of what to do with those embryos, Archer learned about a Christian embryo adoption agency in which donors have a say in whom can receive the embryos. The Pierces were a perfect match. Doctors say implanting older embryos is not necessarily riskier.
If these eggs are frozen properly and they are thawed and past screening, they can be just as healthy as an embryo created today.
The Pierces in their 30s had been trying for 7 years to have a baby. They were barely 5 years old when their now son's embryo was frozen. The new mom saying, we didn't go into it thinking we would break any records. We just wanted to have a baby. About 1 million frozen embryos are estimated to be in storage in the U.S., leaving the ethical question of what to do with them all.
Such as the future fate of the embryo. Who possibly owns them? Is there a time limit? All of these are important ethical considerations.
Baby Thaddeus's biological mom says he looks just like his 30-year-old sister did when she was a baby, and she hopes to meet him one day. Andrea Fuji, ABC News, New York.
We hope you had a restful long weekend. Here's a live look at the Provencher Bridge. Stick with us for more news, weather, and traffic. Wake up, it's Tuesday. You're back from the long weekend and you have to return to work maybe. Good morning. Did you know that Manitoba has a blacksmiths guild? They also have a conference coming up in Austin, Manitoba. It's 4 days and it brings around folks from all over the world. We're chatting about that at 7:52. Also, Folklorama is our live. Let's have a look at our headlines first. Thousands evacuated as wildfires rage across Canada. Crews scramble to control fires from British Columbia to Newfoundland. Plus, polar bears feel the impact of wildfire smoke. Could changes in air quality be affecting how they age? And when Romeo met Juliet in a parking lot, Shakespeare gets a tune-up as trucks take center stage. Good morning, Terry. How was your weekend?
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Yeah. I flew out of town for the weekend, and on my way back, I flew through Minneapolis and I saw the amount of smoke over the city, and I was just bracing myself. I'm like, oh, it's going to be even worse back home. I was pleasantly surprised to see that it wasn't. The smoke here did seem to have lifted. I was told probably Sunday into Monday, we started to see some clearing regarding that smoke. And now we're waking up. There are no warnings in place throughout southern Manitoba. Doesn't mean it's not still a little bit hazy, but that heavy smoke seems to be at bay somewhat. 18 degrees. It is an above seasonal start to your day with southeast winds 18 clicks. The pressure is rising and the humidity sitting at 86%. So the heavy smoke is still in parts of the province, most definitely all through northern Manitoba, east central Manitoba, and then just further south, running into that air quality advisory. But much of central and southern Manitoba, no warnings for us at this point, so we can keep our fingers crossed that it does remain on the clearer side, and we can hope for the best for northern Manitoba. I'm sure you're desperately needing some cleaner air as well. Now, Precipitation would certainly help the fire situation because that's what, of course, is causing the smoke. There is the possibility of some showers, maybe even some thunderstorms today. Thunderstorms not ideal, of course, because of the lightning strikes, but any bit of precipitation we will certainly welcome. Not much showing up early this morning, but into the afternoon you can see some very scattered precipitation beginning to make an appearance for the futurecast anyway. And then overnight, an even better chance that we're seeing some more active weather. And then tomorrow continuing, we'll start to see more of that through parts of northern Manitoba where it's probably needed the most. So a couple of days of some off and on showers, maybe thunderstorms tucked in there. The temperatures will be still on the rise for the next few days. For the rest of this week, actually, another round of precipitation Friday, and then you can see it'll probably cool down somewhat as we're looking ahead to the weekend. Our art today is done by 10-year-old Cody. Thank you for sharing this with us, and we'd love to see your art too, so draw, color, or paint. Take a picture of that and email us to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Terry. Canada's Interagency Forest Fire Centre is reporting 748 active wildfires in this country as of Monday evening. Evacuation orders are forcing thousands of people out of their homes. On Monday afternoon, people in parts of Holyrood, Newfoundland and Labrador were told to get out immediately while crews work on the fire suppression. And on Sunday, a First Nation west of Thompson, Nistitawayasik Cree Nation, also issued an evacuation order and began trying to move thousands of people out. Manitoba remains one of the hardest hit provinces with more than 150 active wildfires burning, and some of those blazes have left communities on edge.
Our fire 61 is basically being held. It has still had some spots on the north of it that have jumped going that way, but not toward town. We have a lot of crews working on it, and on this side of the river where it breached the river there a couple weeks ago. But like I said, we have enough crews that everything's being held.
And British Columbia is battling dozens of fires, including one on Vancouver Island. That fire has grown larger than 500 hectares. It's one of the more than 140 fires that have forced thousands to flee their homes and left many others under an evacuation alert, prepared to leave at a moment's notice. There are air quality statements and warnings in 6 provinces this morning, including much of northern and east central Manitoba, as the wildfire smoke drifts and lingers. In Ontario, Toronto is ranking the top 10 of most polluted cities in the world, according to air quality technology company IQ Air. Environment Canada says that wildfire smoke in southern Ontario should start to improve later today. Until then, experts advise people to limit the amount of time spent outdoors. Forest fires ripping across Canada are impacting the country's wildlife, including Manitoba's polar bears. CTV's Alex Karpa finds out if the changes to the environment are affecting the animals, including how they age.
At the shores of Hudson Bay sits Wapusk National Park in northeastern Manitoba. It's one of the world's largest known polar bear denning areas, crucial for the survival of newborn cubs.
Looking at where polar bear dens are. And
Stephen Peterson, the Director of Conservation and Research at Winnipeg's Assiniboine Park Conservancy, says a warming climate and a drying subarctic landscape is increasing the fire risk up north, placing polar bears in ever-increasing danger.
If we then start eroding and picking away at that denning habitat that's so important for producing new cubs and keeping those populations sustainable, then polar bears are just kind of getting another whammy that will make them less likely to be in Manitoba in the long term.
He is now hoping to create a map that can help inform wildfire fighting efforts in the future to protect wildlife in the north.
If we want to protect polar bear habitat, knowing where that habitat is and what's at high risk will help make those decisions.
Climate change is happening at a pace that is unprecedented.
Megan Jones has studied the impact climate change is having on polar bears and whether they can adapt to an evolving climate. In her ongoing study, she discovered that for every degree of climate warming, these polar bears along the western shores of the Hudson Bay are aging biologically by 1 year.
As we are losing ice in the Arctic due to climate change, bears are spending more time swimming, which is 5 times more energetically intensive than walking, so they're using energy a lot faster.
Manitoba's fire map shows 1 small active fire in Wapusk National Park and 2 other fires in the region, but it's not just the fires that could impact bears, but smoke too.
When polar bears are inhaling these gases, they're inhaling particulate matter, it's going to result in inflammation in their bodies as well.
Jones says the Arctic is expected to warm for at least the next 100 years, but in the meantime, she is doing everything she can to protect polar bears in the north. Alex Scarpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
A manhunt continues in Ontario's cottage country after 3 people were found dead near Bracebridge on the weekend.
Shelter in place was put in effect until approximately 1:45 a.m. that morning. Since then, Mitchell Gray, 29 years old of Bracebridge, is now wanted for murder.
Gray was last seen on Friday. Police were called to a home just north of the town after gunshots were heard Friday night. 1 man was found dead outside of a home on fire. 2 others were later found inside that home. Investigators don't believe there is a threat to public safety. Police say that the victims and Gray were known to each other. A new high-performance cricket facility opened on Saturday in the city's south end.
1, 2, 3.
City officials and members from community gathered at La Barriere Park to celebrate the launch. The facility now has 3 pitches, 4 practice nets, a batting cage, 3 shaded areas, over 100 newly planted trees. One local cricket player says that the new space opens up more opportunities.
There's money involved, there's sponsorships involved. You know, like I said, that 20 years back, we didn't have that. You know, now a local player can hope of playing in bigger leagues, can hope of playing for the country to represent.
The project began in 2018 with a single pitch. Since then, more than $1.1 million have been invested from various sources to expand and improve the facility. Toronto's Victoria Mboko has all of Canada on her side as she prepares for tomorrow's semi-final of the National Bank Open.
Honestly, I didn't have any expectations for myself this week. I was like, you know, I'm just happy to be here. Like, I'm happy to be in the main draw.
The 18-year-old is becoming a household name after beating the #1 seed Coco Gauff in straight sets on Saturday, and Jessica Buzasmanzuro in the quarterfinals yesterday. Mboko started the tournament ranked 333rd in the world, but she'll be safely inside the top 100 after the tournament. Tomorrow's test is a tough one, taking on the multiple Grand Slam winner, Urbankina. What makes Shakespeare's works timeless? It's a constant reinterpretation. This here is the story of Romeo and Juliet as told by trucks. If you can't tell, the red pickup truck is Juliet and the rally truck is Romeo. Concrete mixers and other heavy-duty vehicles round out the cast of feuding Montague and Capulet families. In stage in Old Quarry and Estonia, reviews are in, and the theater goers say that the trucks really captured the subtle longing between the 2 star-crossed lovers. Taking a look at the current traffic situation around St. James Bridge, looks like a smooth drive. Any traffic tips or updates, let us know. CTV Morning, WPG.
CTV Morning Live Weather brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Same-day oil and tire changes.
Your alarm clock just might be our Daniel Holmerson playing those African beats. Good morning, Daniel, from Tech Vogue.
Good morning, Ainsley. Good morning, Winnipeg. We're here at the Africa Pavilion here at Tech Vogue. Of course, it's all part of the 54th Folklorama happening through August 16th. Now, you can check performances and grab a bite to eat here at the Africa Pavilion all week long. There's tickets available online. Now, if you missed, as Ainsley mentioned, we played some music earlier. That was from Zimbabwe. Now, coming up at 7:27, I'm going to try out some Nigerian food and find out what else is on the menu and on tap here at the pavilion. A little later, we'll check out some cultural displays, some souvenirs, and there will be even more drumming before we say goodbye today. So stick around on this first little trip around the world for Folklorama this year, Ainsley.
Thanks, Danny. Terry, outside, it looks beautiful.
It is beautiful. It's a little bit cloudy right now. I think I was somewhat surprised. I shouldn't have been. I was talking about, you know, the possibility of seeing some clouds building up and maybe even some showers or thunderstorms. Now, we're not seeing anything like that just yet, but I have certainly noticed the increase in clouds just over the downtown area, certainly. It's 18 degrees out here, so it's still fairly mild with 20k winds out of the southeast. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 85%. And yes, that chance is there for some showers, maybe some thunderstorms for southern Manitoba, but the possibility that northern Manitoba will see that later on today is there as well. More likely, it'll be an overnight event or into tomorrow for much of northern Manitoba to get some of that precipitation. The temperatures, well, I mean, they're well above seasonal to kick off our morning. 13 degrees would be a normal low. So we're starting out at 18, putting us a fistful above what you'd expect this time of year. And we'll continue to make some gains today and end up above seasonal even into the afternoon. High 20s expected across the entire province. Northern Manitoba, you'll not just get the heat, you're still dealing with that heavy smoke as well. So it'll be a pretty uncomfortable day across much of northern Manitoba when you're dealing with extreme heat and the smoke. Now, there's no extreme warnings regarding the heat issued in the north. There are regarding the smoke, however, and that'll make for an unpleasant day.
CTV Morning Live Weather brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Same-day oil and tire changes.
The 54th Folklorama inspired our question of the day. Which pavilions are you most excited to check out this year? Our question of the day is moved from Twitter, so we want you to text in your answer, please, along with your name. 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. At CTV Morning Live, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets. And whether they're furry, feathered, or even scaly, your Pet of the Week submissions have been amazing. We want to see even more of them. Whether it's dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals, send them our way. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to petoftheweek@ctv.ca. Catch us every Thursday between 6 and 9 to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week. Beautiful start to your Tuesday morning along Notre Dame Avenue. Stay with us for more news, weather, and traffic. Good morning, it's 7:15. For the first time, Canada has dropped much-needed aid into Gaza. Nearly 10,000 kilograms of supplies were airdropped by the Canadian Armed Forces on Monday. It was part of a plan by 6 countries hoping to alleviate the hunger crisis in the Palestinian territory. This was the first time Canada used its own aircraft instead of relying on other countries. It comes as Prime Minister Mark Carney says that Canada is intensifying efforts to help develop a peace plan to support Palestinians. It comes as negotiations on a hostage and ceasefire deal in Gaza appear to be at an impasse. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is expected to convene his security cabinet this week to decide on Israel's next steps. A senior Israeli source suggesting more force could be an option. Hamas is demanding that the humanitarian situation be addressed before it returns to talks. A touching moment this weekend for an NHL hockey player, Maki Stamaskevich, who brought the Stanley Cup to the Sandy Hook Elementary School Memorial to honor the victims of the 2012 mass shooting.
I thought we'd just bring it back in honor of them.
The Florida Panthers team member once attended the school in Newton, Connecticut. It's a tradition for winning players to get a day to celebrate with the trophy, and it didn't take him long to decide where to spend his special day. It was a weekend of celebration in Gimli as the community marked 150 years since the founding of New Iceland. The Icelandic Festival of Manitoba drew thousands of visitors over 4 days with a parade, tournaments, live music, and plenty of food. One of the most popular events was the Islendingadunk, a Viking-style showdown where 2 people tried to knock each other off a metallic pole over water. Festival's president says that the connection between Gimli and Iceland remains strong.
We have very strong ties and always share what we're doing. We visit them, they visit us, and yeah, it's always been very, very strong and held together by the communities.
To mark the milestone, Iceland's president, ambassador to Canada, and consul general in Winnipeg all attended the festival. Organizers say that they worked hard to keep the event affordable and family-friendly. They estimate between 30,000 and 40,000 came to the event over the weekend. Taking a look at the current traffic situation along the Norwood Bridge. No stalls or traffic delays to report. CTV Morning WPG is where you can find us.
CTV Morning Live Traffic brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. No appointment needed.
In entertainment news, Matt Damon and Jimmy Kimmel's friendly feud is alive and well.
So the first thing we want to do, Jimmy, we want to play this very safe. We like C, but we want to 50-50 this.
You know you would have won this on your own, right?
Damon and Jeopardy host Ken Jennings were on a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire when Kimmel teased him all night. The pair's history goes back all the way to 2005 when Kimmel took a stab at Damon on his late-night show, and they've been keeping it going ever since. But Damon got the last laugh last week, winning $1 million, all being donated to his nonprofit, water.org. It's one of the most well-known franchises in the horror genre, and it's not slowing down anytime soon.
There's something in the attic. Ed, there's an evil here. Something I've felt before.
Warner Bros. Just dropped the latest installment of the Conjuring cinematic universe, The Conjuring Last Rites. We'll see Ed and Lorraine Warren reunite for the last case of real-life paranormal investigators. It hits theaters September 3rd. Demi Lovato is back on the music scene.
I wanna go fast, I wanna go hard, I wanna go anywhere you are, no matter how.
Lovato is taking a detour from her recent rock and soul projects with this electro-pop single titled Fast. This is our first look at her upcoming studio album. This is also the first we've heard from her since she dropped Revamped in 2023. Catch up on The Big Bang Theory with back-to-back episodes starting at 7. And don't miss E-Talk at 10:30. It's all right here on CTV.
Oh, the variety we offer, folks. Don't go anywhere. We have one show to watch over and over again. Okay, sorry, I probably shouldn't have drawn attention to that. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? Let's take a look at the numbers this morning because, outside at the Bath Fitter Live Eye, that's a better place to begin. Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. Here's the thing, it's going to be a beautiful night. Go outside and go for a stroll, and then you can come back and watch all your PVR shows. See what you missed out on. 18 degrees at the moment here in Winnipeg and in Sprague, Kenora. Lots of places that we're seeing that 18 over in Roblin as well. There's a few 19s showing up. All of these numbers, though, above seasonal. Just for a reference point, 13 degrees. That would be a seasonal low. Even Swan River, who was at 12 last hour, is now starting to warm up. 15 degrees at this time. And then, yes, those high teens right up into parts of northern Manitoba, or even hitting 20 degrees already in the Flin Flon area. No heat warnings issued for Manitoba, but you can see just off to the west they are. That's the pink that you're seeing in parts of Saskatchewan. From Manitoba, most of the north and east central Manitoba remains under that heavy smoke warning or the advisory regarding the air quality. Central and southern Manitoba, all of those warnings have been lifted. Still a little bit hazy out there. You can see that when we're looking through some of our camera views. We are hoping to see some improvement today. Maybe some precipitation will help. The possibility is there of some showers or a thunderstorm. Now, what we don't need are the lightning strikes, because of course that can spark things up in the very dry conditions. But any bit of rain that wants to fall, my goodness, please, Mother Nature, bring that on. We're ready for another round. And while there is the possibility through today and overnight that we get those showers or thunderstorms, a better chance for tonight and tomorrow. Here's a look at how the temperatures will be rising today, making it up into those mid to high 20s across the province and continuing to warm up through the rest of this week. Another round of precipitation by the end of the week on Friday before we see those temperatures cooling for the weekend. And this is Snoopy. I guess it was a little bit cool and hazy over the weekend, and Snoopy didn't seem to mind at all. Thanks to Philip for the photo, and keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Thanks, Terry. Many people are still enjoying their summer vacations, and that may mean renting a car in Canada or another country. But different rental companies have different rules about who and they will rent to, including how old you are. CTV's Pat Foran explains.
The whole mission in this is just to let people know.
Carol Ann and John Jenisak of Oakville recently visited with family in British Columbia. Before they left, they made sure to book a rental car. But when they got to the rental counter in Victoria, they got a surprise.
When John handed her his driver's license, she said, "Oh dear, I'm sorry, but we can't rent to you because you're over 79, which we had never heard of before.
Carol Ann was still 79 for another 3 months, so luckily she was able to rent the car as long as she did the driving, and John, who was 85, didn't get behind the wheel. The couple says the situation could have been worse.
If you had a trip arranged and you put the deposits on hotels, that could be quite costly.
The Genisaks rented a car with National Car Rental, whose parent company is Enterprise Mobility. A spokesperson told CTV News the National Car Rental branch in Victoria, BC, sets its own policies and procedures. Their age requirements for rental are outlined on their website under key facts and policies when you begin a reservation. Every rental company is different, and some don't have age restrictions, but some do. You could be denied a rental car if you're over 79 years of age, over 70 outside of Canada, if you're younger than 21 or 25 years old, if you have limited driving experience, have a bad credit rating, if you don't present a valid driver's license, or you don't have the proper form of payment. Most rental companies won't accept cash without a credit card on file. Last year, CTV News did a story with Brian Barnard of Etobicoke, who was denied a car rental because he wanted to pay with a prepaid credit card.
It was frustrating to go all the way there and then to be told that, you know, you won't take my form of payment.
If you're planning to rent a car, you'll want to check the fine print to make sure your trip goes as planned. Pat Foran, CTV News.
It's that time of year again, and CTV and Chicken Chef want to know, how are you soaking up the Manitoba sunshine? And whether you're roasting marshmallows under the stars or dancing at your favorite festival, we want to see the special moments that make your summer shine. Upload a photo of your summer fun for a chance to win the $5,000 grand prize. You'll also be in the running for daily draws and tasty surprises from Chicken Chef. Plus, you could win one of 4 $250 gift cards from WineSense. So snap that perfect shot and share your summer with us today. Coming up at 7:38, our trip around the world in Folklorama heads to Africa. Stay with us. Danny Holmerson joins us from Tech Voc at the Africa Pavilion for this year's Folklorama. We're really kicking it off this Tuesday. Have you tried Nigerian rice yet, Danny?
Not yet, Ainsley. Looking forward to it, though. It's my favorite part of Folklorama is, of course, the food. I'm joined by Sade from AFV Kitchen, as well as the Pavilion Kitchen Chair, Maggie, and we're going to learn a little bit about this delicious spread in front of us. Now, Sade, if someone hasn't been to the Africa Pavilion before, what should they order?
The African plate. All day African plate. It's made of jollof rice, the very popular jollof rice. Cuts across every part of Africa, and we also have in it, we have chicken, very succulent chicken, we have plantain, and we have coleslaw. It just gives you that perfect combination of a meal. So anytime you come, make sure you get the African plate. We also have the vegetarian option. So, oh well, I don't want to eat any meat, can I still have a meal? Yes, you can. You can always ask for the vegetarian option. So like I said, always when you come here, ask for the African plate.
And if someone doesn't want a full meal, they've been to another pavilion, they just want a snack, there's a couple other things they could try.
Absolutely. We do have quite a number of little meals or little snacks that we call them. And we have the meat pie, we have the puff puff, we have kunafa, and we have samosa. We do have all those available.
Perfect. And Maggie, we all know you can't just eat a meal, you need some dessert as well. What can people snack on after dinner here?
Of course, there's always a need for dessert. We have kunafa here. Kunafa is made of pastry, and the filling has whipped cream, some water, and cornstarch, and glazed with honey and cardamom. It is really nice.
And if you're washing it down, what's on tap here?
Here we have the Tosca beer from Kenya. You can have that. And for our Caribbean friends, we also have the Carib here. And also some people prefer Baileys, just like me. We have the African version, which is the Amarola. So yes, you can wash it down with all these items.
Ainsley, you...
Oh. So
he's like, Ainsley, listen closely.
Yeah.
This is going to be groundbreaking, life-changing.
Psych.
My director, she's like, oh my God, do we have to go away from Terry too? No, I'm here. Just mouthing away. All right.
I'm hungry.
Are you? Yeah, after watching that, for sure. Hungry, a little bit thirsty, all of it. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Let's talk a little bit, though. I'm going to switch gears entirely. Let's chat about what's happening outside today. It's 18 degrees with southeast winds, 20 kilometers per hour. That pressure is rising, and the humidity sitting at 85%. There's a bit of haze out there, but nothing like the heavy smoke that's still hanging over much of northern Manitoba. East central Manitoba remains under those heavy warnings. And it does appear like that northeastern part of the province is probably where it's going to be the worst today, because even though the warnings are issued all through the north, this is the area where Environment Canada is giving straight up smoke icons. Stay tuned. In about 10 minutes time, I'm going to take you around the province and you'll see what I'm talking about there. Right now, we're going to focus primarily on southern Manitoba, or Winnipeg, I guess. 27 degrees is where we're headed, with a chance of showers, maybe some thunderstorms for later on today. Southeast winds at about 30 clicks. They will be increasing into the afternoon a little bit. 27 puts us just slightly above seasonal. 26 is actually a normal daytime high. A normal low temperature would be around 13 degrees. We're going to remain above that, dropping to 18. Still with those winds in place and that chance of showers or storms continuing, and for tomorrow as well, that chance of precipitation, which we will welcome. Come on, Mother Nature, bring it on. It's been dry. We need it. 27 again for tomorrow, but those temperatures continue to heat up a little bit by Thursday. 30 degrees and another round of rain maybe on Friday. Chance of showers or thunderstorms again. Cooling off somewhat for the weekend, though we should be seeing the sunshine back again.
Thank you, Terry. Manitoba RCMP are investigating 2 separate drowning incidents that claimed the lives of 2 men on Saturday. Steinbach RCMP were called to Reynolds Ponds in the rural municipality of Reynolds at around 2 p.m. Officers were told that a man had been swimming when he suddenly disappeared beneath the surface and did not come up. Bystanders were searching for the swimmer but did not find the man. The Manitoba RCMP underwater recovery team was deployed to assist in the search. A 70-year-old man from Ontario was later found dead. Later that evening, Selkirk RCMP responded to a drowning at Grand Beach at around 8 p.m. Police were told that 2 men had gone out onto the lake on a pool flotation device. Then the men lost their balance and fell into the water. One man was rescued by a nearby kayaker, but the second man did not resurface. The underwater recovery team located the body of a 25-year-old Winnipeg man who was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigations into both incidents are ongoing. A group representing doctors says that it's time to ditch fax machines and snail mail to help speed up patient referrals. Doctors Manitoba posted this video to social media, and it says doctors make more than 1 million specialist referrals and imaging requisitions annually. Most are done through fax because most Manitoba physicians can't share information electronically. It's one of the least efficient systems in Canada. The group says that fax requests often get backlogged in a central intake and require manual entry into a computer system. Doctors Manitoba says that moving to an electronic system will speed up referrals and decrease wait times for patients.
We think that it would be a benefit because if the administrative burden of processing those referrals in a very analog way is decreased, then presumably that means better work balance for the receiving physician and more time in the week, in the year, that patients could be seen instead of having a specialist sitting at a desk doing that processing.
At a healthcare summit this fall, Doctors Manitoba will try to convince government and regulators to consider the switch. Prime Minister Mark Carney will be spending another day in British Columbia, where he will make an announcement about lumber amid the simmering trade dispute with the United States over softwood lumber. On Monday, the Prime Minister toured the Canadian Forces Maritime Experimental and Test Ranges facility in Vancouver Island. The PMO says that the visit was aimed at highlighting Canada's plan to rebuild and rearm the Canadian Armed Forces. 3 people in Quebec are facing smuggling-related charges after police intercepted a truck carrying 44 foreign nationals. Mounties and Quebec's police intercepted the truck near Stansted overnight on Saturday. The 3 smuggling suspects are scheduled to appear in court tomorrow. What a splash! Toronto teen Summer McIntosh is now the 2nd woman in history to win 4 golds at a single championship and the 3rd swimmer ever to win 5 individual medals.
It's the most impressive showing of any Canadian woman athlete.
It was history in the making at the World Aquatic Championships in Singapore this weekend, with McIntosh breaking her own championship record. Her performance is definitely sparking more interest in the sport, with Swimming Canada now hoping to rally all levels of government to create more swimming facilities in the country. A celebration of Irish culture. My goodness, the Celtic Ireland Pavilion at Folklorama is marking a major milestone. The pavilion is celebrating 20 years with Folklorama this year, and they did not hold back. River dance-inspired performances and a dazzling sound and light show were all there. Also, Irish stew, soda bread, and pints of Guinness are waiting for the crowd. Organizers say that their favorite part of the show is seeing the smiles on the faces of everyone who attends.
Just their expression, seeing how happy they are, the cheers, the clapping, and their experience of being here. When they leave the pavilion, how excited they are, how thankful they are. Just a great experience to see people really happy.
Organizers say that this year's show is bigger and bolder. The Celtic Ireland Pavilion runs all week at the Fort Garry Curling Club on Archibald Street. Taking a look at the current traffic situation at Kenniston Boulevard. We are not aware of any stalls or crashes, but if you spot any, let us know. CTV Morning WPG. Taking a look at your gas prices, the Canadian average stands at $1.37. The provincial average is lower, $1.34. And in Winnipeg, the average is $1.36. Lowest price in the city, $1.27. All this info available to you at gasbuddy.com.
Price at the Pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
On the Tuesday back from the long weekend, it's currently 18 degrees. A beautiful start to your morning. We'll have more news, weather, and traffic coming up.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
At that, the sun finally climbing a little bit high enough and trying its best to poke up from behind those clouds. It's 18 degrees right now with southeast winds 20 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising and the humidity is sitting at 85%. We have seen a few clouds building up over the course of the morning. Still, it beats the smoke, and unfortunately for much of central and northern Manitoba, or at least east central and all of northern Manitoba, you've got that heavy smoke lingering once again. I was saying about 10 minutes ago that it'll probably be the worst here in the northeast. That's the area that Environment Canada has issued straight up smoke icons. Not much to see here on the satellite image, because if it weren't for the smoke, there really wouldn't be much going on. Maybe a shower or thunderstorm for later on today. But here in northeastern Manitoba, Environment Canada has just gone ahead and say it's going to be a smoky day. High 20s, low 30s. It's going to be a hot day too, although no heat warnings have been issued for Manitoba. Here in the northeast, you do remain, the northwest, you do remain under that heavy smoke warning, but Environment Canada is at least giving you some sunshine icons as opposed to the straight up smoke. And through central and southern Manitoba, the warnings for us have been lifted, at least for now. I know it was a smoky start to the weekend, but we got some improvements over the course of the weekend itself. Now, that chance of showers and thunderstorms is there. For the southwest, better chance. We have a possibility through the day of seeing some of that activity, maybe more so overnight and then through tomorrow. Northwestern Ontario might be seeing a little bit more of that as well, though. And across the south, mid to high 20s, that's where we're likely to top out today. 26 degrees is normal for this time of year. We'll be just beyond it today, but still getting a little warmer over the next couple of days, and maybe some more activity with the rain by the end of the week. That'll come just ahead of a slightly cooler weekend ahead.
Thanks, Terry. Whether it's the food, the dance, the drink, or even the cultural display, Folklorama has something for everyone. Daniel Holmerson joins us once again. Good morning, Danny.
Good morning, Ainsley. Yeah, we've checked out some music, we've checked out some food. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the Africa Pavilion represents 54 different countries across 5 different regions. Now, I'm joined by Badabo, who's going to tell us a little bit about some of those different cultures and some of the different items they have on display here at TechVoc.
Yeah, thank you. So at the cultural display section, we have games, and then from different parts of Africa. And then over here, we have masks from different sections of Africa as well, the western part, the east and the west. And then we have musical instruments, different musical instruments. This is mbira from Zimbabwe. And then we have shekere from the western part of Africa.
Before we move on, will you play the mbira for us? Let's see how that sounds.
It's more like a local piano.
Very cool, very cool.
Local piano. And then we have here Kenya, the Maasai tribe, different artifacts, and then something for your, slippers for your legs with beads. Nice. You get to come and see this. And then we have different cultural artifacts as well from various parts of Africa. Something like this. This is a water bottle, and this keeps your water cold even in the heat. Yeah. And over here we have works of art by our kids, our youth during the summer, and then depicting different parts, the diversity. This is Egypt, Ghana, different parts of Africa. We have African icons as well, and so much more you get to see.
And just before we get going, why is it important to showcase all those different cultures?
Yeah, this represents the diversity, the creativity of the African community here in Manitoba and all around the world. And there's so much to connect with, in Africa.
Wonderful. Well, coming up, we'll show you some of the souvenirs you can take home from the Pavilion's African Market.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Advancements in cancer treatments have come a long way over the years. Among them, a new machine in Ottawa combines live MRI images while the patient receives very precise radiation therapy. CTV's Peter Sperling reports.
It's the latest advancement to fight cancer.
I call this Star Trek.
This is a new MR-Linac machine targeting cancer with pinpoint accuracy.
One of the most important parts of radiation therapy for us is actually aiming at the right spot, right? So historically we had a lot of trouble doing that because different parts of the body can change shape, they can move around, just even with breathing.
It combines imaging with radiation at the same time, even as the tumor moves during treatment.
So it makes the treatment much more precise, makes it much more concentrated. Certain people who would not have had treatment can have treatment now.
It's essentially two devices in one, an MRI used to take images inside the body, and one that delivers radiation treatment.
So for the first time, we're able to combine precise imaging and precise delivery of radiation in one system.
And what that means is the oncology team can adjust on the go, see the shape and position of the tumor.
So we can use that information to adapt the radiotherapy plan. So a brand new way to deliver the radiotherapy is come up with every day while the patient's on the bed.
The Ottawa Hospital is one of a handful of treatment centers in Canada with this technology.
I hesitate to use big words like transformative, but I think we're going to learn things, the way patients are treated here, that is going to change the way patients are treated throughout the organization and eventually globally.
The $10 million machine has been in use since June. About a dozen prostate cancer patients have received treatment so far. The plan is to expand to treat other types of cancers and about 250 patients per year.
The doctors I've been speaking to envision more upper abdomen kind of treatments, pancreas, liver, those kinds of things, where the ability to track the motion of the tumor, which is something we know happens as patients breathe, that capability becomes very important.
Peter Sperling, CTV News.
Welcome inside the Sports Center newsroom. Adam Scully here with your must-see moment from Monday. And for it, we're heading to the Windy City. Reds visiting the Cubs. Top four, Ellie De La Cruz hits one to second. Nico Horner gloves it and throws De La Cruz out from the seat of his pants. Horner showing off the skills that won him a Gold Glove in 2023. Fantastic play from the Cubs second baseman, throwing out De La Cruz from his backside. That is your must-see moment from Monday. Tuesday on TSN, you can see Leagues Cup action when Columbus takes on Leon. Coverage starts 6:30 p.m. Central Time. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
TSN Must-See Moments brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, your Hunter Douglas shade provider for over 40 years. CTV Morning Live Weather is brought to you by Destination Dinner Stage, Manitoba's only musical dinner theater.
All right, the sun found its way out from behind that cloud, starting to feel the warmth of it. Not that it wasn't warm this morning. I mean, we've been at 18 degrees all morning long, but when I first came out here, the sun had barely even started to rise, not till after 6 a.m. now. At 6:04 it started this morning, and then it got tucked behind some clouds. Now that it's out again, yes, you can start to feel the warmth of it all. And the breeze at the moment is out of the southeast at 20 kilometers per hour. Pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 85%. I still can see some blue skies straight up above me. Off to the west, there's a few clouds that I'm seeing here or there. Mix of sun and cloud, that's pretty much what you can expect out of today, with the possibility of a chance of showers or maybe thunderstorms. If we do see that, it'll likely be later on this afternoon or more likely overnight and then continuing through tomorrow. Parts of northern Manitoba may also see a bit of that activity, but again, a better chance for overnight and tomorrow to get that precipitation, which we are so desperately needing. Bring it on, Mother Nature. Now, we're still dealing with the heavy smoke across all of northern Manitoba. Those warnings have been lifted here in the south, and a little bit of rain, well, that could help the entire situation around the province.
Thanks, Terry. We're turning up the heat this morning, quite literally, as we welcome a guest from an event where sparks will fly, steel will bend, and unique art is created. It's called the Can Iron 14, Canada's National Blacksmithing Conference. It's happening right here in Manitoba from August 7th to 10th. Joining us now is Justin Lamoureux, president of the Manitoba Blacksmith Guild, to tell us more about this celebration. Good morning.
Good morning.
So this rotates. It's not always in Manitoba.
No, it moves from province to province, and it's only every 2 years, and we're pretty lucky to have it here in Manitoba.
And Austin, Manitoba, no less.
Oh man, it's an awesome place. There's so much history there. There's so many buildings that we could use for blacksmithing. It's like the perfect facility for it. So.
And you've got people coming from all over to attend this.
Yeah, we sure do. Yeah, we're actually flying out artists from Pennsylvania, California, Vancouver Island. We're bringing the best blacksmiths that we wanted to see as blacksmiths to Manitoba so that they can demonstrate or show us what they do and try to glean as much information from them. They're giving classes and they're creating artwork at the same time, so we're fortunate.
So with that, I would imagine there's quite a bit of collaboration involved.
Oh, yeah.
Are you taking notes on other people's styles?
Yeah, definitely. Lots of that. But also just like coordinating everything, getting everyone here at the same time, all the tools. Like, there's a lot of equipment required for blacksmithing. You can start really basic, but you can keep growing, and some of these expert blacksmiths require some specialized tooling. So we've been busting our buns for the last 6 months trying to get everything prepped up so that we can make this a success.
Well, the Manitoba blacksmiths have to represent. You know, you got to say this is this is our stuff.
Yeah, totally. We're a young organization. We've only been around for 6 years now. Some of the like older association guilds have been here for like 30 years. So we're the young guns in the country per se, and we're trying to do the best we can. Yeah.
Are there any particular characteristics you'd say for Manitoba blacksmiths?
Well, we have Cloverdale Forge, which is north of the city. They, like Matt and Rudy, are our local experts. They're coming out as well, and they're kind of the face of Manitoba on the side of like artistic blacksmithing going out of the province. But we have some awesome blacksmiths here too, like on top of them as well.
It's super niche, of course, to the people who are outside looking in. But when you get to the nitty-gritty and some of the specifics, what are you guys tackling at the conference?
Oh, well, food for one. You got to keep everyone fed and happy, hydrated, and then, like I was saying, that just the sheer amount of tools, like anvils, they're not light, they're pretty darn heavy, so we have several flatbeds of tools going out to Austin just to supply not just the demonstrator blacksmiths, but we also have open forge space. So like people are coming in from Wisconsin, they're not bringing all their tools because that would be, it just doesn't make sense. Yeah. So we're supplying some hammers, the tongs, some of the anvils, propane, coal.
Awesome.
Everything. Yeah.
And there's an auction as well.
Yeah. Our auction is partially online. We put some of the things, the items that we think just like general public would like. It's on 32auctions.com. It's you can visit that site and see some of the work that people are donating, and all the funds either go to support Manitoba Blacksmith Guild or Can Iron. Can Iron needs to live on. There's like a seed fund that gets passed on from province to province, and we just want to keep it alive.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this conversation. Have fun. Good luck.
Oh, yeah.
Coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, our Daniel Halmerson is at Folklorama and the Africa Pavilion. Stick with us. It's time for Let's Celebrate. Let's see who's having a celebration today. Happy 19th birthday to Mila and happy 6th birthday to Martin with best wishes from your family and friends. Happy birthday to Kasha. Love, Mom, Dad, and Joey. Happy birthday to Eric with best love from Dad in the world. Best dad in the world. That's a lot of words. From Renelle and Tanner. If someone you care about is having a birthday, anniversary, retirement, or graduation, let's celebrate. To submit your celebration, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. Fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It will also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Let's Celebrate, brought to you by Party Stuff, 3 Winnipeg locations and at partystuff.ca.
I hope your Tuesday is swell so far. We're chatting with Trees Winnipeg in about 20 minutes time. With the dry conditions, they've run into some challenges, but they also plant trees during the school year. So we're going to learn just how many there are. Also, our Daniel Holmerson is covering the 44th or over 50 years actually of Folklorama. 44 pavilions in Africa is where he's at. First, here's your headlines. Over the weekend, a First Nation community gets the word to get out as fires threaten highway access. Air Canada flight attendants vote on a possible deal. Could they serve up a strike if a new contract is rejected? And it's called the beautiful game. But for these robots, the aesthetics of soccer are not as critical as the mechanics of it. AI soccer, my goodness.
Oh. I mean, I don't know. We will see. We will see if that is a thing that actually comes. I feel like there are some things that you'll never be able to take away from humans.
I completely agree.
I mean, we'll see, but I haven't actually seen that entire story. So,
like looking into
tuned.
the sun. Like looking into the sun when you're on the roof, you were doing lots of that.
I was doing a lot of that. Yeah, it's come out from behind the clouds again. It's nice to see it. 18 degrees at the moment. Southeast winds 20 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 85%. 18 degrees to begin the morning. That's an above seasonal start to the day. 13 degrees, that would be a normal low. Most of us are above that. Now, no heat warnings issued for Manitoba. There is one in Saskatchewan right now. There you can see it just on the west side of the border. But for Manitoba, it's the smoke warnings that remain in place all across the north and then down this eastern border and eventually running into the air quality advisory, just a slightly downgraded version from the straight up smoke warning. Here in the south, the smoke warnings have lifted. I understand it was kind of pretty crummy till about Sunday, Monday. Monday started to clear out nicely, and now today we're breathing a little bit easier here in southern Manitoba, but unfortunately that is still not the case across parts of the north. We could use more rain. We may see some. The possibility of some showers, maybe some scattered precipitation across the province today, but a better chance that it'll actually be more so into the evening, overnight, and then for tomorrow, that chance of precipitation, especially moving up into parts of northern Manitoba where it could be used the most, although here in the south, it's been quite dry as well, so might be another day that you don't just wait for Mother Nature to do the watering. Get your own bucket out and do a bit of that as well. Temperatures, they'll be on the rise for the next few days. 26 degrees is seasonal, so until Friday we'll be above that, but it will cool down for the weekend. 10-year-old Cody is the one to thank for our art today. Cody, appreciate this. Keep the pictures coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at CTV.ca.
Thank you, Terry. Another First Nations community in northern Manitoba was evacuated on Sunday due to wildfire-related concern. Nistitchawayasik Cree Nation issued a full evacuation order on Sunday. In a social media post, the community said that the evacuation is a precautionary measure due to a possible highway closure. Residents with their own transportation were asked to self-evacuate to the RBC Convention Center in Winnipeg after registration at the community's multiplex. Community members who were away for the long weekend were also asked to report their location and head to the shelter in Winnipeg. As of Sunday, there are 159 total fires that are burning in Manitoba, with 19 fires being out of control, according to the province. Finance Minister Francois-Philippe Champagne and Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand are off to Mexico City this week for talks on trade and bilateral relations.
We talk to Mexico, when we talk to their embassies in Canada, they are very eager to reset the relationship.
They will meet with Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum over the 2-day visit. Mexico has been deemed a priority market by Export Development Canada. Mexico is Canada's third largest trading partner, but only accounted for 1% of Canadian exports last year. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Mark Carney is expected to talk with U.S. President Donald Trump in the coming days after he hit Canada with tariffs late last week. Officials have described recent meetings with American officials as cordial and constructive. Carney will also make an announcement later today at a lumber facility in West Kelowna. A manhunt continues in Ontario's cottage country after 3 people were found dead near Bracebridge on the weekend.
A shelter in place was put in effect until approximately 1:45 a.m. that morning. Since then, Mitchell Gray, 29 years old of Bracebridge, is now wanted for murder.
Gray was last seen on Friday. Police were called to a home just north of the town after gunshots were heard on Friday night. 1 man was found dead outside of a home on fire. 2 others were later found inside that home. Investigators don't believe that there's a threat to public safety. Police say that the victims and Gray were known to each other. Voting closes today for Air Canada flight attendants on whether to give a strike mandate on to their union. The union, which represents 10,000 flight attendants at Air Canada and Air Canada Rouge, said that the vote is needed to push a fair agreement. This comes after months of negotiations. If no collective agreement is reached, the union said that a strike could happen as early as August 16th. Bargaining is expected to continue at the end of the week, regardless of the outcome of the vote. Voting started on July 28th, and the results are expected to be released tonight. Robot teams are preparing for their first ever World Humanoid Robot Games in Beijing. 30 robot teams from countries around the world have registered to play in the soccer tournament at the games that begin on August 14th. On Monday, the robots fully faced off in autonomous 5-on-5 soccer matches powered entirely by artificial intelligence. The robots are equipped with advanced visual sensors which allow them to identify the ball and navigate the field. They were also designed to stand up on their own after falling. Taking a look at the current traffic situation around St. Mary's Road, looks like a smooth drive. Any traffic tips or updates to share, send them to us. CTV Morning WPG on our X page.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
Our Daniel Holmerson has headed to the Africa Pavilion at Tech Voc. It's one of 44 pavilions this year at Folklorama. What are you talking about now, Danny?
Well, we're in the African market, Ainsley, and I'm joined by Stella, one of the volunteers here. Stella, so what kind of things can people buy here at the market?
Okay, thank you so much. In Africa market, as you can see, the way I have dressed, we have the hair wrap, we have dresses, we have also the beads, we have also the other hand beads, and as you can see, we have also the scrunchies for the hair, for mostly for the women, and also we have the head wraps, we have the shoes made of animal skin and also the beads, and we have also the men.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Head wrap.
I mean, the scrunchie wouldn't work for me, so this is a good one, yeah.
We consider everyone, men and women and everyone, yeah. So, and also we have the dresses. For example, this one. We have also different design, as you can see, and different colors.
Let's talk about those colors. Obviously very vibrant, looking at you right now and looking on these racks. Tell me, where does the inspiration come from?
Inspiration comes within our environment in Africa. We relate with the nature. So that's why we are blessed with, let's say, flowers, colorful flowers in Africa, and we use the nature to make the fabricants and also easily to relate with the nature.
And some of the things we see here, the key fobs, these are all made locally, aren't they?
Yes, they are made locally from scratch, and this really helps the local vendors who are here in Winnipeg.
Very cool. Well, there's plenty of other things to see here at the African market. We are at Tech Voc for the pavilion, shows all week, every night. And coming up, we're going to see a little more drumming back on the stage. So stay tuned for that, Ainsley.
Perfect. Thanks so much. A shortage of popular painkillers across the country is proving to be a pain for Canadians who need it. CTV's Kathy Lee shares the details on why it could be weeks before the shelves are restocked.
Pain is his constant companion, a shadow that clings to every step. It all started 5 years ago after an accident at work.
I fell 14 feet onto the concrete floor and hit the wall and cut my head open.
That fall, leaving Tony Heimbrock with chronic body pain and relentless migraines. Each movement a balancing act between agony and endurance.
This is my supply of Percocet.
Painkillers are his lifeline.
It's going to have to do for the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Because there is no more across the country. Health Canada confirming there are currently shortages of certain prescription drugs containing acetaminophen with codeine or oxycodone due to manufacturing issues with one major supplier, Teva Canada Limited, which is putting pressure on other manufacturers and on pharmacies.
We're trying to avoid a squeeze on inventory, but unfortunately we're already there. We don't have any stock right now, and so it's just a matter of finding alternatives and trying to be proactive.
For Heimbrock, an alternative pain medication isn't possible because of another health condition. He was prescribed this injection only for migraines, but not his body pain.
It's very unbearable. It really is.
The Canadian Pharmacists Association says while the supply situation is expected to improve by mid-August, people can expect supply constraints to continue until the end of September.
There gets some release there.
Until then, Heimbrock waits, counting pills, counting days, and counting on a system that, for now, has left him hanging by a thread. Health Canada says it's working closely with manufacturers, healthcare providers, provinces and territories to monitor the situation and explore other options to increase access. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
Looking now through the Bath Fitter Live Eye Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. Temperatures on the rise again now that that sun has made its way up from behind the clouds. We are starting to feel the warmth of it. We've bumped from 18 degrees up to 20 here in Winnipeg. Still seeing some of those high teens through parts of the south, but a couple of places joining us at 20 degrees. We've got Melita and Gimli right there along with us. And then there's parts of northern Manitoba who have been in the 20-degree range already for a couple of hours. Many more places now joining them. It will be a warm day across the north. It'll be a warm day, but a smoky day as well, with those heavy smoke warnings remaining in place all through northern Manitoba and even parts of east central Manitoba. If it's not the heavy smoke warning, it's the advisory. That's the yellow that you're seeing, which is just a slightly downgraded version of that warning. Now, through much of central and southern Manitoba, those warnings have lifted. Hoping that we could see some of that moving through northern Manitoba, the clearer air, but instead we're just starting to see, we're not getting the precipitation that we're needing that's going to help with these fires that have been burning across much of northern Manitoba and through east central Manitoba. Taking a look instead at how the numbers will be climbing through the day today. Noontime, and we're already into those low to mid 20s, pushing up into the high 20s for later on today, slightly above seasonal, and it only continues to heat up through the rest of the week. Now, it doesn't look like we've got a great chance of that precipitation that we need until later on today, overnight, and tomorrow. Maybe another round by the end of the week before it cools down slightly for the coming weekend. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
Now to a Vancouver man making a big difference by turning a simple walk into something more meaningful. As CTV's Adam Sawatsky explains, it's a benefit to others while making his own life a little brighter.
Yvonne Muse is visiting the blue ocean after enduring gray water backing up at home.
I am waiting for the plumber to finish his job.
Now, he could have done anything during the next couple hours, but Yvonne decided to do this.
I noticed that there's some litter and I started picking it up.
While he makes the effort to deal with too many discarded things and places the occasional forgotten ones somewhere more prominent,
maybe the person will come back and pick it up.
Yvonne also wears the pins he suspects have fallen from people's lapels, including this poppy.
Yeah, I found it on the sidewalk and I decided to wear it every day.
To remember.
All year round.
To never forget. Although he doesn't need to be reminded to pick up litter.
Well, it makes me feel better.
As opposed to when he couldn't have felt worse.
Struggling in addiction was a slow downward spiral.
Yvonne had descended beyond rock bottom.
You know, my self-esteem was just deteriorating with my mind as well, you know.
before finally finding professional support.
Well, they're like angels. Like it's really amazing.
Then, one day, Yvonne noticed an empty bag on the ground.
Well, why don't I just start filling it with more litter? And so I did that, and you just get into a flow of it.
And there was something about being of service in such a natural setting that proved profoundly positive.
It changed my outlook on life tremendously.
Yvonne says he was inspired to actively show his respect and appreciation for the world by doing this every chance he gets, which has helped him maintain being sober and drug-free ever since.
Celebrating 1 year of that.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And while he may have to call a plumber to fix his pipes, Yvonne has found that the best way to rehabilitate his life is to give back to this place and its people in whatever way he can.
It makes me feel better about being alive.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Vancouver.
Many Winnipeggers care deeply about our urban forest, and with good reason. Trees don't just beautify our neighborhoods, they clean our air, cool our cities, and support biodiversity. But this summer, trees in our city are facing some serious challenges. Joining us this morning is Christian Cassidy, Executive Director of Trees Winnipeg, to talk about advocacy efforts. Good morning, Christian.
Hi, Ainsley.
It's been pretty dry lately. What's kind of the landscape? Worst words. What's the landscape of the situation with our trees in the city?
Well, we've received since April the 1st about a third of the rainfall that we normally do, and that's troubling for all trees, even mature trees, but especially newer trees. And you know, we do a lot of tree plantings with schools and things like that, so the trees have been in the ground for maybe 2 years, 3 years, and those trees can really suffer.
What are the biggest indicators of that?
You start, it's similar to houseplants. You see the leaves start drooping and curling up at the ends, and eventually they'll start to discolor. They'll burn around the ends, they'll get yellow and then turn brown. And so you really want to kind of get on top of them before they get to that point.
And how many trees would you say have been impacted this year?
Oh, I mean, I would say, for us, almost every school tree we've planted in the last 3 years, we've been doing supplemental waterings. We've doubled up on the number of waterings that we normally do with the trees. And I would say, for people who aren't watering their trees, any backyard tree, especially newer ones, are really susceptible. Or those boulevard trees that you see out front. They get watered by the city contractor, but again, it's once a week. It's kind of that minimum amount. So we're calling on people that, if you have trees in your backyard, give them a nice deep soak. If you have trees on your boulevard, even though the city's paying somebody to do it, give them an extra supplemental watering, and that'll really help them in the long term.
Give it some love. You mentioned the planting of the trees, of course. 200 you've done among school kids. I know it's not back to school yet, but is that the plan this year moving forward?
Yeah, we're planting, we planted at 30 different inner city school sites, and we'll be planting at 5 more this year. So we've done about half them already. We have a couple more left in the fall, and that's the greatest thing to do, to plant them with the kids, because the kids come out and they help out and they're really interested and get to learn about looking after a tree. It's part, they're part of the process by planting that tree themselves. So that's our biggest ongoing program that we have, is the school tree planting program, and that takes up most of our time during the planting season.
No doubt. From what I understand, too, you've got a summer walk series going on. What's that about?
Well, we do. So we normally don't plant trees in August. It's just too hot and school is out. So we look for different types of programming to do. And one of them that we came up with a couple of years ago that turned out to be really popular are park walks. So we'll show up at different green spaces. I'll put on my other hat as a local historian, and I'll talk about the history of the green space. And then we'll have an arborist with us.
Wow.
And they'll point out the different trees that you see in the park, the different varieties, which trees are in good health, which trees are in bad health, and people can ask their own tree questions.
You must have some pretty cool stories. That is fantastic. Thank you so much. And if you wanted to take part as well, we will have a link on our website.
Great.
All right, and And it is not just the trees needing the water, the flowers are as well. I'm noticing that. It must have been a pretty dry weekend. I understand it was a pretty smoky weekend while I was here on Friday, and we remember that heavy smoke that I understand lingered through the first half of the weekend and then started to subside by the latter part of the weekend. And here we are waking up this morning to much clearer conditions, but not everybody is so lucky. Here in Winnipeg right now, it's 20 degrees, a bit of sunshine, a few clouds out here. The winds, they're out of the south-southeast at 23 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity sitting at 82%. Where the smoke is the worst this morning is all through northern Manitoba. Those heavy smoke warnings remain in place, not just through the north, but down that eastern border. East central Manitoba included in those warnings as well. Much of central and southern Manitoba, those warnings have lifted, but there is still a little bit of that haze you're going to notice. Now, we all need the rain. Some places may see some showers or thunderstorms for today. A better chance of overnight and through tomorrow that we'll see more of that precipitation moving through, although I'm not sure that it'll amount to a whole lot. So again, I've been reminding you to maybe water your own flowers for today. Out at the farm, it was a little bit cool and hazy, but Snoopy didn't seem to mind at all. What a gorgeous little picture. Thanks to Philip for this, and keep the photos coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Weather brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful at 900 Lorimer Boulevard, featuring Hunter Douglas shades.
Our next story may be a bit confusing, but a 1-week-old baby in Ohio is also the oldest baby in the world. That's because the Gen Alpha child is also a millennial. ABC's Andrea Fuji has the bizarre explanation.
A new record, a baby born from an embryo frozen more than 30 years ago. A medical feat, stunning, even doctors.
The fact that somebody who wanted to have a baby but couldn't now has one thanks to a frozen embryo that was frozen 30 years ago, that is remarkable.
Thaddeus was born in Ohio to his adoptive parents, Tim and Lindsay Pierce. We had a rough birth, but we are both doing well now. The new mom telling MIT Technology Review, "We are in awe that we have this precious baby." Thaddeus was conceived in a lab in 1994 by Linda Archard, who's now 62 years old. She and her then husband used IVF, a fairly new technology at the time, to eventually have their now 30-year-old daughter. But they froze 3 other unused embryos. Years later, faced with the decision of what to do with those embryos, Archard learned about a Christian embryo adoption agency in which donors have a say in whom can receive the embryos. The Pierces were a perfect match. Doctors say implanting older embryos is not necessarily riskier.
If these eggs are frozen properly and they are thawed and past screening, they can be just as healthy as an embryo created today.
The Pierces in their 30s had been trying for 7 years to have a baby. They were barely 5 years old when their now son's embryo was frozen. The new mom saying, "We didn't go into it thinking we would break any records. We just wanted to have a baby." About 1 million frozen embryos are estimated to be in storage in the U.S., leaving the ethical question of what to do with them all.
Such as the future fate of the embryo. Who possibly owns them? Is there a time limit? All of these are important ethical considerations.
Baby Thaddeus's biological mom says he looks just like his 30-year-old sister did when she was a baby, and she hopes to meet him one day. Andrea Fuji, ABC News, New York.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
Mark your calendars. Winkler is throwing one of the biggest parties of the summer. The Winkler Harvest Festival is back from August 8th to 10th with 3 full days of concerts, food, family, and fun. And a celebration of community spirit, really. Joining me now is Karina Buchert. Share what's new and what's free and why all this festival has come to be a must-do for Manitobans. Good morning, Karina.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So let's start with the big picture here. What is the Winkler Harvest Festival and what makes it really a standout event for Manitobans?
So it's an annual community festival here that is free for our community and for everybody that comes out. So we have it once a year, every second weekend of August. So we've been having it for almost 40 years now.
And even the concerts are free. Who's playing this year? Lots of local.
We got lots of local. Yeah, we've got Owen Rigling is our headliner for Friday night, Big Sugar for Saturday night, and 10th Avenue North for Sunday. So, and then we have openers that are Manitoba Proud, Katie St. Germain. We've got Link and the Mustaches, the Miladies. There's lots of them. We're very excited to have them all.
What does it mean to the artists and the audience as well to make sure that it's local talent and maintain that?
Yeah, it's a tough balance. We have so much amazing local artists that are like just amazing, and they're doing so great on the stages and so on worldwide. And so we're very excited to have them here. From The Color, who is our local Winkler Pride, we are very excited to have them on the stage as well for Sunday. So we just love being able to support them all.
From what I understand too, you've added something pretty new this year. It's unique. It's a quiet morning experience. What is that, and who is it for?
Yeah, so Clover Creek Learning Center here in Winkler is a learning center specifically for people or children with autism and other special needs that have special needs. And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to partner with them and offer a 2-hour morning while we're running our annual parade, which is loud, and those with like any sensory disabilities and so on wouldn't be at those parades anyways. It gives them the opportunity to come and enjoy the festival as well. So we'll be running the midway thanks to Wonder Shows with no music and no lights, and everything will just be kind of conscious and aware of the sensory disabilities that are in our community. And so it's going to be a great opportunity.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. Okay, so what are some other highlights that people shouldn't miss?
We have the beer gardens that are happening here, the Heritage Brewing Company. So they are a local family that just started out here in Winkler, a new tap room. And so we have their beer gardens that are opening. So we also have some live entertainment going on in there as well from the local band Beer Jammers. And we have a Mechanical Bulls. That's going to be awesome. And we have so much entertainment for the kids. Like we have Prairie Exotics coming out with our big snakes and all of that. We have so many vendors and food trucks. I think we have 34 food trucks coming out this year. So we're very excited to have them all.
I can see you light up when you're talking about that, and I can see why. For the people who haven't been, truly, paint a picture for us of what the atmosphere is like.
Yeah, so we have an amazing opportunity where we have the space. So there's often in festivals, it's so crammed and full. We have a lot of space here, and so it's a great opportunity for us to showcase a lot of different things. So we have 34 food trucks. I think we have about 40 different vendors outside, as well as a fawn and cub market inside, which still has another 60 or 70 different vendors as well. So it's a great opportunity inside and out. Very, very opening. It's very open. We have a car show on Sunday. There's a strong provincial Strong Manitoba is happening here. Like, we're just very excited to be able to have all of these people come out for so many different pieces.
Karina, thank you so much. The Winkler Harvest Festival, something to do here in Manitoba. Thank you so much. Outside, how's it today?
It's looking good. It's feeling good. It will be pretty warm throughout most of this week with slightly above seasonal temperatures. For example, we started the day at 18 degrees. We're now sitting at 20, but just to give you a reference point, 13 degrees would be a seasonal low, and we were well above that all morning long. There's a bit of a breeze out of the south-southeast, 23 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising, and the humidity is sitting at 82%. A few more clouds starting to build up out there. We're waiting for some rain. There's the possibility that we could get some today. Even parts of northern Manitoba could see some showers, and you can see how desperately we're needing it as these smoke warnings remain in place. All of northern Manitoba, parts of east central Manitoba, or if it's not the straight up warning, it's the yellow advisory that Environment Canada has issued. Everything has lifted across central and southern Manitoba as far as the smoke warnings. There's still the slightest bit of a haze out there, but nothing like what northern Manitoba is dealing with. Now, it's been incredibly dry, and we could sure use another round of precipitation. There is a possibility today of some showers or maybe a thunderstorm, as we're expecting above seasonal temperatures once again, 27 degrees. Now, 26 is normal, so we're not shooting far beyond seasonal, but it will continue to warm up throughout the rest of this week. 18 degrees overnight with that chance of showers or thunderstorms continuing. Southeast winds through the day and overnight could get to a 30k wind, so at least there will be a bit of a breeze as we're reaching these hotter temps. 27 expected again tomorrow with a chance of showers or thunderstorms continuing. In fact, perhaps a better chance for tomorrow than today even, and maybe another round by the end of the week with some hot temperatures throughout. The weekend, it does look like we'll see the mercury settling down a little bit below seasonal, or perhaps a little more bearable for those of you who will find the heat throughout this week a little too much.
Thanks, Terry. The wildfire situation in Leaf Rapids is seeing crews remaining vigilant, catching and extinguishing hotspots within the town. A Facebook update from the town of Leaf Rapids on Monday says that roving fire crews are having success at keeping wildfires from intruding into the community, with dozers working on fire guards and crews initiating some controlled burns. The update says that Manitoba Hydro crews are in Leaf Rapids, but power has not been restored yet. In the Snow Lake area, an update from 9:15 p.m. on Monday says says that crews are busy along with key control lines near the Herblet Lake Hydro substation, Lawler Road and Highway 395. Lightning caused some new fires in the area, with one crew deployed at the site of one of those at risk. Assessing those are ongoing. The town of Snow Lake is protecting all assets within municipal boundaries that are accessible by road. Manitoba Wildfire Service is looking after non-road accessible areas. In a statement earlier yesterday, Snow Lake Mayor Ron Scott thanked crews for their ongoing efforts at protecting the community and asked evacuated residents for their continued patience as crews battle what is referred to as, quote, this beast. He also indicated that the Lawler mine is untouched by fire, though it has no power right now. Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe is speaking out against AI deepfakes of him circulating online.
Ads are a scam, and the videos of myself and others are nothing short of AI deepfakes. And I want you to know that I will never endorse or recommend a particular investment. So if you see a video...
Moe shared that video on social media, warning people to watch out for AI-generated videos of himself endorsing online investment platforms. His likeness, including his voice, have been used in online ads for cryptocurrency schemes. Moe said that they're trying to track down who is behind creating the fake videos of him and other prominent figures. According to Moe, some of the AI ads also feature Prime Minister Mark Carney. Two boats launching fireworks caught fire in Japan on Monday. This happened during a summer festival just south of Tokyo. One person was taken to hospital with minor injuries. Officials canceled the rest of the event due to safety concerns. She came from Ukraine hoping for a fresh start, but after her car was vandalized in April, she's been stuck waiting for months for an answer from her insurance provider. CTV's Swida Rassi reports.
Vanessa Roy escaped war in Ukraine and arrived in Montreal in October of 2022. She saved enough money to buy her very first car, this Honda Accord. For her, the car was her freedom.
Before having a car, I didn't realize how valuable it is because I need to move from one end of the city to another end of the city.
But now it's been sitting here for months, damaged and unrepaired. Her car was vandalized back in April. Her car window smashed, the sunroof broken.
I felt like, wow, is it really happening to me?
She says she filed a police report and then an insurance claim. She says she provided all the requested information, but as of yet, the car hasn't left the repair shop.
I'm confused, I'm upset, I'm frustrated.
On top of that, she claims getting answers from her insurance provider has been a hassle, and her case keeps getting passed around between company representatives. TD Insurance confirmed an investigation in an email sent May 29th, but at the time wouldn't say if the damage was covered. That was more than 2 months ago. Still, no answers. Roy says she doesn't know why her claim is even being investigated.
It doesn't make any sense for me.
A statement to CTV News from TD Insurance reads, TD Insurance is committed to supporting its customers, and we understand how upsetting and stressful vandalism can be. Claims are assessed based on the details of the claim and terms of the policy, and we have been in contact with our customer throughout their claim to resolve this as quickly as possible. Royal filed the complaints with the AMF, which regulates the insurance sector in Quebec. With no car, Roy is relying on buses, bikes, and ride shares, costing her time, money, and peace of mind.
See, when you shop and you buy your insurance, it's written, no worries. When something happens, when situation occurs, we're going to help you. You are protected. That's what I read in my policy. But then, when it really happened, I had to go through all these nightmares.
Stuck in limbo, and all she can do now is wait. Swida Rassi, CTV News.
Here's another look at traffic, Portage and Polo Park. Outside of your usual construction zones, no stalls or crashes to report. CTV Morning WPG is where you can find us. Taking a look also at your gas prices. The Canadian average stands at $1.37, while the provincial average is lower at $1.34. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.36. The lowest price in the city, $1.27. All this info can be found at gasbuddy.com.
Price at the pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
From the African Pavilion at Tech Vogue is our Daniel Holmerson for one last conversation. Good morning, Danny. Who are you with now?
Good morning, Ainsley. I'm here with Jay Stoller from Drum Cafe. Now, Jay, you're playing here all week long. Tell us a little bit about Drum Cafe.
Well, Drum Cafe, we bring people together with the African drums. Here at the pavilion, we're really excited to get people involved in our presentation. We get them clapping and cheering along, and we really like to establish that sense of participation with the audience.
Now, you were telling me you guys have over 500 drums. Obviously, they're not all here right now, but Drum Cafe is West African drumming. How does that differentiate from maybe other regions of Africa?
That's a good question. With thousands of cultures throughout Africa, there's so many different styles of music and dance, and the West African drumming incorporates drums of different sounds, different pitches, and they kind of fit together with interlocking rhythms, making the beautiful sound of the drumming music.
Perfect. And as you mentioned, audiences, you get them involved. Jay, how can I get involved this morning?
Oh, you are so lucky. We have one spot left in our dance group that's about to come on stage, and I think you'll fit right in.
Here we go.
I know it was great. I know we missed something spectacular there. Oh, Terry. The story last week.
All the more reason just to go down and check it out for yourself, right?
No doubt. Oh.
We already know the food is going to be fantastic. The energy, what they were coming with earlier on this morning, they had it. They were bringing it. And that was at 6 a.m. Could you imagine what those pavilions are going to be like at supper time? Like when they've had all day to kind of rev them up and a little bit of food in their belly? It's going to be fire, I bet. Anyway, speaking of, what we need is relief from the fires. The heavy smoke all across northern Manitoba, it is so prevalent once again. We're still dealing with that heavy smoke warning, not just through the northern part of the province, but through east central Manitoba as well. That's where the smoke warnings are issued by Environment Canada for this morning. They have been lifted through much of west central and southern Manitoba. So we've seen a little bit of relief. I say that, and I'm still looking at some somewhat hazy conditions, but nothing like the heavy smoke that much of northern Manitoba is still dealing with. And we need the rain so desperately. There is the possibility that today could bring some possible showers, maybe thunderstorms, through southern Manitoba, and then into the evening overnight, that chance that it starts to move into more of northern Manitoba, or more likely for tomorrow that relief will come. But even that relief with the rain isn't likely to be the amount that we need. So unfortunately, we might still deal with these dry conditions, even though that possibility of precipitation is there. Above seasonal temperatures are also expected right into the coming weekends.
CTV Morning Live Weather brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
It's that time of year again, and CTV and Chicken Chef want to know, how are you soaking up the Manitoba sunshine? Whether you're roasting marshmallows under the stars or dancing at your favorite festival, we want to see the special moments that make your summer shine. Upload a photo of your summer fun for a chance to win the $5,000 grand prize. You'll also be in the running for daily draws and tasty surprises from Chicken Chef. Plus, you could win one of 4 $250 gift cards from Wine Sense. So snap that perfect shot, share your summer with us today. In our next story, new research links air pollution to lung cancer in non-smokers and suggests it may be even more hazardous than secondhand smoke. ABC's Zareen Shahan has the details.
A study published in the journal Nature is sounding the alarm about how outdoor air pollution may be raising the risk of lung cancer in non-smokers. People who have never smoked account for about 25% of lung cancer cases, and this study looked at 871 such individuals from 4 continents. After evaluating where people lived, how much polluted air they were likely breathing over time, and their health histories, researchers found that breathing more polluted air made certain DNA changes up to 2.5 times more likely. These changes occurred in the genes that helped fix damaged genetic material, making it easier for cancer to develop. To reduce your exposure, check the weather report and avoid outdoor exercise on days when the air quality is bad. Use high-efficiency air filters in your home and add a portable air purifier to your bedroom for extra protection when you sleep.
If you've been to Assiniboine Park recently, chances are you've spotted the eye-catching bikes from Be Together Bikes. And whether you're cruising around with friends or taking a guided tour through the park's historic landmarks, Be Together offers a fun and unique way to explore Winnipeg. Joining us now this morning are Chad Solaire, who's the owner of Be Together Bikes, and Jan Pedersen, one of the tour guide operators. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So tell us, how long have you been rolling through Winnipeg?
We started our company in 2007, with our first location being at the Forks.
And tell us about how it all works.
We're a bicycle rental business, as you mentioned. So when customers have a desire to get a bicycle, they can come check out one of our locations at the Forks, Assiniboine Park, or Birds Hill Park. And they have to have a government-issued picture ID. They can present their ID to our staff. Our staff or our bicycle attendants show them the different styles of bikes that we have. When they choose the bike that they want, they fill out a waiver form, and then our staff send them on their way. Well, show them how to use the bikes and then send them on their way.
And Chad, you have electrical bikes now too as well?
Yeah, we just started to get into electrical bicycles, although the bikes haven't come in yet, but the scooters have. And there's a particular type of bike that we do have called an electric Surrey bike.
Okay, what's that mean?
So an electric Surrey bike is like a really big bicycle that is lots of people can ride on. So one of our bikes will hold up to 5 people, 3 adults and 2 children in the front seats. So the little kids really like to be in the front of the bike because they kind of get to see everything from that vantage point.
Good view.
And then we also have a larger one that holds up to 8 people. So it's quite a unique experience because lots of people can ride on one bike.
A whole party.
And you're pretty close together too.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And you're really getting to explore and learn the city. Tell us about some of the routes and some of the sites.
Well, we've kind of made the tour so that people can enjoy, in the 90 minutes or so that the tour lasts, 22 sites in Assiniboine Park. And we explore the history of the park and how it intertwines with the history of the province and the history of the city. Of course, we're in the nature of the park. We're in the riparian forest, which is the type of forest that follows riverbanks. And then we're also in open fields, and then the beautiful new gardens of the Leaf and Canada's Diversity Gardens. So all in all, we have 22 stops that we make. And some stops are quite long. We'll even get off the Surrey, stretch our legs a bit, and get closer to some of the sites themselves, like at Leo Mall Garden is an example, and some of the gardens in Canada's Diversity Garden. And some will just sit in the Surrey, talk about it for a few minutes, answer questions, and we really encourage people to bring their cameras, and bring lots of questions. And if there's something that you've outsmarted us on, we'll get the answer back to you. But so far, we've been able to satisfy every question we got, and it's a great tour. People seem to really enjoy it.
You get your history and you get your physical exercise all in one. It really seems like the perfect combination.
Yeah, folks aren't pedaling. The Surrey itself, it's like a four-wheeled bicycle with very comfortable chairs.
Okay.
So they're not asked to do any pedaling, although once in a while, if we get off the track, we may ask for their foot power assistance for a second or two. But yeah, people really enjoy it, and we really enjoy just sharing this knowledge we have and this the experiences my whole life has been in Winnipeg, and sharing it with fellow Winnipeggers, of course, and also with guests to the city.
Both of you, thank you so much for being here. This has been Be Together Bikes on CTV Morning Live.
Yeah, new bikes and scooters to the fleet. That sounds pretty exciting. All right, looking outside, it's 20 degrees, southeast winds, 23 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 82%. Hey, do you know what? Speaking of new, did anybody notice the new street art on Graham this morning down below? There's new street art down there, illuminated. I mean, it looks really cool early in the morning when we came into work. Anyway, I put a video on my Instagram. You can see it there. It's cool. That whole avenue is looking so good. Is almost as colorful as our smoke warning map, honestly. So all of northern Manitoba, east central Manitoba, if it's not the purple, it's the yellow. That's just a slightly downgraded advisory versus the straight up warnings, or the pink that we're seeing just off to the west in parts of Saskatchewan. That's an excessive heat warning. But even much of northern Manitoba will be feeling the heat. Temperatures soaring well above seasonal. Really not much to show you here on the satellite map right now. There is the possibility for later today of some showers or some thunderstorms. If not later today, perhaps an even better chance overnight and through tomorrow that we get that much needed precipitation. It has been so desperately dry. Well, the temperatures will still be on the rise and above seasonal through the rest of this week. That possibility of precipitation over the next couple of days, maybe a better chance by the end of the week on Friday, but the mercury could get up to 30 degrees on Thursday and then start to cool down. You can see for the weekend it settles a little bit, so after hot conditions for the week, slightly below seasonal as we're looking ahead to Saturday, Sunday, and maybe even continuing as we're looking further into Monday too. Taking a break right now, but stick around please. We'll be back with more on CTV Morning Live.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
All right, it's the Tuesday that feels like Monday. We're taking you into the rest of your week with a great video. If you're not a fan of veggies, though, you're not alone. His face says it all. He takes a bite of the lettuce, and this lion immediately regretted his decision.
That doesn't taste like a leopard.
Oh, no. Yeah, wants a piece of meat.
Give me a wildebeest.
Maybe it's yawning. And proof that it's not just kids who love slides. Oh, this pup's in heaven. Watch as he climbs up the big inflatable stairs and then slides all the way down with a big old smile on his face.
That does look like fun. And imagine getting one of those big old slides all to yourself. Like, no lineups to deal with. It's just like, go again.
It would take
again.
me double the time to get up there, though. I'd be crawling like this.
I wouldn't make it twice.
Like I'm crawling into our week. See you tomorrow, guys.